believe that you have a chance to go out and recruit and find some diamonds in the rough, guys that didn't get chances, opportunities at a high level. Because you notice a lot of the guys, we're getting a lot of FBS guys, right? So you're getting some guys that playing in playoffs and all-conference type of guys that didn't have that chance to play at big school. So that's one element that you have. And then also you have guys that are just at school and they're unhappy, or they feel like they're not getting the opportunity that they should get. I remember being a freshman, man, I ain't gonna lie, I would have been out of here first semester. But my grandmother told me, hey, that's not gonna work. I was gonna go to TCU. So imagine that. Guys want to play. They want an opportunity to play. And I was gonna go to TCU, which was nowhere on Arizona's level, trust me. But I was gonna get on the court and get minutes, and that's what it was about. So, yeah, man, I've always been an advocate of guys being able to choose where they want to be at. I mean, the schools, trust me, I know for a fact during my time, guys were asked to leave and different things like that happen as well. So it's just a great thing to me to be able to have these opportunities for the universities and the players.
And all that being said, there's no magic potion, right? I mean, for those two examples you just gave, Vanderbilt and ASU, there's a lot of schools that brought in lower-level guys. Look at this Arizona team, Kelvin, the first 10 games, struggling maybe to figure out how to put pieces together from smaller schools and having those guys adjust to this level. Back to the West Virginia, what they did, guys, is they have guys who bought into pack line. What they did is went from the field, Kelvin. That's why they won that game, such a low-scoring game in the 60s. When maybe your best player, that's debatable, but maybe their best player is not playing. We'll get into that later as well. To be able to go in and beat a top 10 Kansas Jayhawks team on their own court, that's the whole defense travels thing, the whole Miller era. It's a pack line thing, Kelvin. They're cutting off the driving lanes. Really, really made Kansas look average offensively, and that's a good offensive team.
All right, let's tell you what we've got coming up for you over the course of the next 3 hours of this afternoon.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, we will recap what happened at Cincinnati on Saturday, a 72-67 win. We'll get our first look at West Virginia. That's brought to you by Window Depot. Spotlight on a cat. We'll hear from KJ Lewis. You remember he had a few issues down in the Bahamas the last time these two teams got together. Your scouting report today will be brought to you by Brad Howell, the radio analyst from West Virginia. We'll talk to him, and that is also brought to you here on the sponsorship side by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Best bets on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. U of A favorite tonight at -2.5. The over-under coming in at 142.5 on this one. Arizona won 72-67 at Cincinnati. It was a game in which at one point they were up 19 points. Did Tommy Lloyd think it was going to be easy when his team was up 19?
I mean, listen, I'm hoping. You never know, right? Like, these games are tough, and you're hoping. It's obviously a great environment when you show up, before tip-off and every seat's full. It's going to be something special. And I thought for 30 minutes we did an unbelievable job keeping that crowd really quiet. And then we maybe got a little fatigued, and their sense of urgency amped up a little bit, created some turnovers, and they got out in transition and kind of obviously got themselves back in the game. But that's something for us to continue to look at. Hey, it's tough to get a 19-point lead at a place like Cincinnati, so we got to put that in our back pocket and know we can do it. And then now the next thing is, how do you manage that? And I think we can grow there.
And what did Tommy think the difference was in winning a game like that? The game that the Wildcats had at times lost this season?
The biggest situation is we found a way. And, our guys kind of hung in there. We had a big lead, and it's happened to us before this year. It happened to UCLA a couple weeks ago. We were up 13. And the games get tough. These other teams are good. They're talented. They amp up the pressure. I thought our guys did a good job of hanging with it. The turnovers crushed us. The offensive rebounding hurt us. But then KJ Lewis made 2 amazing kind of driving plays where he didn't have much at the end. He got on 2 feet, pivoted, and just found a way to will in 2 baskets. And that's what we didn't do against UCLA. We were never able to make that, kind of hold on to that lead a little bit longer.
Guys, what do you think, though, when you talk about what we saw offensively at the end of that game versus maybe what we saw, they brought up UCLA a couple of times. What did you take away that you saw different about the way they attacked it offensively at the end that allowed them to finish that?
Getting downhill, getting to the basket. In winning times, man, you have to get to the basket because now you give yourself a situation to where you get the layup, you can get fouled, and you put your offensive rebounders in a position to get an offensive rebound putback. Also, I think defensively, man, they just turned it up, man. After you get beat up a couple times, you start learning what it takes to be able to figure out how to get those wins. Everybody kind of underestimates that these guys were a new group trying to come together. The little bit difference between West Virginia is that you had a few guys here that you were trying to, melt together with a core group of guys that you already had. A couple guys that were trying to step up to another level, Jaden Bradley and KJ Lewis. So just a little balance, and guys just had to try to figure out their roles.
Yeah, the end of the UCLA game was obvious. It was turnover, bad shot, forced shot, turnover. I think we tracked it. There were 4 turnovers, 5 missed threes, 3 missed shots. They didn't make a field goal in the last 9 minutes. The difference in this last game was moving the ball around, Kelvin, getting good shots, like Coach mentioned right there. KJ making a couple of big shots down the stretch. JB, when the seas parted and he just found his way to the basket. And turnovers. They only had 12 turnovers in this last game. So cut the turnovers down, especially crunch time turnovers. When did Cincinnati make that run? Down 19. They made a run. They amped up that 1-3-1, whatever, court, jumping, trapping defense they were playing at half court. Couple of turnovers by Arizona, a couple of threes by them. That's what got them back in the game. Take care of the ball, take good shots. That's how you hold on to a lead.
Henry Vasar afterwards saying, hey, this was one we had to find a way to close out.
We just knew we had to pull away with this one. Obviously, we had the UCLA game, so we had experience already from the season. So with this one, we just knew we had to win and stay poised and make play-by-play.
Another big game, obviously, for Vasar. We'll talk about that straight ahead as well. Another good game as well by Carter Bryant, who did not miss a shot from the field in this one, and says the Cats made winning plays in the end.
It was just one we had to get. We fought with it. We stuck with it. We trusted our game plan. I think we executed everything to not necessarily a T, but as well as you can ask for in an environment and playing against a great defensive team like this.
Now, you're talking about some guys that are not all that experienced. Carter Bryant, Henry Vasar being maybe the catalyst in this game for some older players maybe that did not play as well. And Tommy Lloyd has talked before about how it's a TTE, total team effort. It takes everyone to not only win a game, but it takes everyone to close out a game in the end.
The game got tied. I'm down with it. I'm like, come on, we got to find a way on this one. These guys deserve it. They've been amazing, and it'll be a kind of a pivotal moment for our season. And we kind of drew up something out of the timeout that we'd never really done before, and it allowed Jaden Bradley to get downhill and make a layup. The play wasn't necessarily for that, but that was one of the options, and he made a layup, I think, when the game was tied, and we got that 2-point lead, and I think we got to stop, and we were able just to kind of possession by possession find a way from there.
Well, and there you go. Maybe the coaches seem to be growing a little bit as well. We drew up a play there at the end to try to create something we wanted. Maybe it wasn't exactly the way it went, but we had some options, and we found one of those options, and it worked. I know that's something we've been wanting to hear for a long time from Tommy Lloyd.
Go ahead, J-Dub.
The problem is randomness is what they're trying to create within the flow. So you can't predict exactly what's coming because it's not a set play. However, Kelvin, keeping the defense off balance is the whole point. So if you're noticing that they're hedging over to Caleb in the corner because they're worried about him getting that shot off, then you design something, maybe have a big come up and have, set a back screen on JB's man when he's handling the ball at the top of the key. That was just a little nifty Euro. He got right to the rim on that bucket where they got the lead back. We heard that in the highlights. But yeah, Kelvin, you've been talking about it forever. Flow works great. I always loved Coach O's style, which was flow and then set plays on out of bounds, under the basket, that kind of thing, or whenever you really, really, really needed a big bucket.
That's exactly it. Again, I'm for being random. You're right. People know your plays. Everybody know your plays. But What I like about plays is you can know my play, but I have wrinkles off of these plays that I could switch up on you anytime that I get ready. And so, yes, you want to play an open flow. If you could as a coach, you hope your guys could fast break for every point. But the reality of it is, and anybody that know anything about basketball, when you play another good team, that's not happening. You're not going to beat them you're not going to crush them on the boards. You're not going to kill them on the offensive boards to get easy buckets. You're not going to get fast break dunks. I mean, we haven't even had that many fast break dunks. So that should tell you, especially against the good teams. That's why we haven't won against the good teams. But I feel like when you add in those wrinkles or those set play, I wasn't saying a million play. I ain't saying every time you got to look over your shoulder, call the play. But when you see things are not moving and things are not working, you have to draw up something random on the sideline. That's great. Or have something already in your pocket that you're ready, that the guys have executed, and that you can get something off where guys can feel like, because I felt like I feel like some of those games when we were just doing the flow. Did you remember hearing Caleb talk? Say, I got to figure it out. What? What? I've never heard a player have to figure out when he's playing for a major university. No, the coach is helping me figure this out, and I'm sure that's what he was saying. But at the same time, that was a little alarming to me because I'm like, no. We need our best player understanding that we're also here to get you going as well.
And especially because he was talking about how the defenses were playing him early in the season. I got to figure out how to get good shots based on and he's a fifth-year guy with 2,500 points or whatever. So, yeah, the coaching staff has to put Caleb Love in a great position to lead this team, Kelvin, and be that dominant scorer.
And I add this, which they have done a tremendous job the last 4 games, because before I think they were more again, trying to build it around Crevis, right? And had him outside doing the catch and shoot threes, so it'll give more room to Crevis on the inside. I'm not sure if that's totally, but I remember hearing something like that as far as building around the big fella, right? But I think now, since he's been gone, they had to go back to similar how they played last year through Caleb, and I think you're seeing a difference in his offensive outputs.
All right, it is the Arizona Wildcats and the West Virginia Mountaineers, the number 21 in the AP poll, 23rd in the coaches poll. West Virginia Mountaineers with tip-off coming at 5 o'clock here. Brian Jeffries and Reggie Geary will be on the call. It's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We'll take our first look at what's going on with these Mountaineers. Arizona's first trip to Morgantown since 1950.
Was that?
How did they get there in?
Was that Jerry West?
Exactly.
Jerry West was right around that time.
Was he that old?
I mean, it was like late 50s, I think. 57, 58, something like that.
It's been a while. They might have taken a train back in the day, for sure. Along with Kelvin Efon and JW Madden, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we're offering 60 months no interest financing, tax credits up to $2,600, energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
With these scratchers, I'll win enough dough to enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally know how to fix your car right.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck on that, guys. But if you need a sure thing, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. No appointment necessary, call ahead's welcome, or just stop by any of the 14 area locations.
And check out our full page of promotions and discounts at jackfurriers.com.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Looking for unlimited gameplay all season long? Dave & Buster's is introducing the all-new Winter Season Pass. You can pick your perfect pass and play like a Dave & Buster's VIP with unlimited access to over 140 games and deals on sips and bites. Sign up now and take advantage of this incredible deal now through February 28th. Don't forget to stop in Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials and grab the all-new Winter Season Pass. There's nowhere better to eat, drink, play, and watch than Dave & Buster's, the best place outside the stadium to see the games this football season.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
And James works down to the right wing. Crossover, drives inside. Shot rejected by Vasar. Grabbed by Love. Love driving the other way to the bucket. Missed the jam. Oh, he missed the dunk, but he got fouled. He got fouled at the buzzer and will go to the line.
Our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game is brought to you by the Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
Meeting number 7 all time in this series between Arizona and West Virginia. The series is tied 3-3 after the Mountaineers defeated the Wildcats 83-76 in overtime earlier this year at the Battle for Atlantis. Again, as I mentioned, this will be the first time since 1950 that the Wildcats have played a game in Morgantown. They actually played there in 1948 and 1950. I spent the entire break looking to see if I could find a box score of that game. The Wildcats lost in 1948, 61-58. They won by 1 point on December 30th, 1950, 68-67. I'm trying to see if I can find who the captains on that team were. That was a team that was coached by the great Fred Inc. But they don't list some of these teams. They list the captains. They don't list the captains for that team. That 1951 team went to the NCAA tournament, though. Lost to Kansas State in March of 1951. They were the Border Conference champions back in 1950-51, finishing with a record of 24-6.
Balanced scoring on that team, too.
No.
3 guys averaging 10 or more.
You found stats?
I did.
Oh, well, tell us.
Yeah, we got Rob Honia. I'm probably going to butcher some of these names. Bob, Honia.
Yeah, I remember.
Was a senior forward.
Heard that name, yeah.
Kelvin, this was a senior 6'1" forward. Ooh. Not a lot of 6'1" forwards around these days. He averaged 13 and 7. Roger Johnson, 12 and a half and 6. Leo Johnson averaged 10 and 12. And Dave Schoof averaged 10 and 7.
Wow. See, there you go. I knew J-Dub would find the information. He's very good at that.
College Basketball Reference is my favorite.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, there you go. That should have been the first place I went.
They go way back. Yeah. They were 24-6 that year, 15-1 in the Border Conference.
You heard the block there by Henry Vasar that led to the run out by Mr. Caleb Love and the dunk at the end of regulation. The Wildcats back on the road tonight looking to get their second Big 12 victory. Tommy Lloyd was asked if teams have to be tougher on the road.
You need toughness, but you know what? You need toughness when you played UCLA. You need toughness when you played Oregon. You need toughness when you played SC. That's what winning basketball is. I mean, maybe we'll see top to bottom. Maybe there's a little bit more of it needed. But here's the deal. I'm going to go in eyes wide open. I'm not going to assume everything. The assumptions I'm going to make are easy. Every game is going to be hard, and we're going to have to play good to be competitive. I'll make those assumptions. Anything beyond that, I mean, we're going to have to earn, and that's how we're going to approach it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not going to be easy no matter where you are, and this is going to be I think there's some environments here early. Again, you like these games maybe in this time frame because students are still gone from some campuses, so you're not going to be in some of these raucous places like you might be in certain instances once students get back to campus. And we talked about it yesterday on the local show, Kelvin. We just kind of were looking at the road. They're going to be 10 games in this conference on the road. You got 1, and I'll ask you the question: how many do you think this team's going to win on the road? How many do they need to win of those 10 on the road to put themselves in a pretty good position?
We always say you want the split and you want to protect your home. If you lose a game at home, you're going to have to, make up one on the road somewhere. So it's just one of those things where, half of those games, if you win them, you should be great. Because, again, you're talking about a conference where it's one of the top conferences and have some of the top teams in the country in there. So you beat those teams on the road, the quality points just go through the roof.
Yeah, and it's super heavy backloaded, right? Because they got to go at Baylor, at Iowa State, and at Kansas for the last 3 road games.
And I'll say this, which is good for them because it gives them time to get their stuff together and to be a better team and to be more cohesive.
Real quick on Tommy, I think people may not remember, but, the Zags weren't exactly the Zags for the last 25 years. To start out, to get that reputation, you know what they did? Mark Few and those guys, they scheduled the toughest non-conference schedule of any team in the country every single year, guys. So what has Tommy experienced as a head coach on that bench going into hostile environments, Kelvin, consistently because their conference would never give them the net rankings RPI to be able to get a high enough seed. So they had to schedule crazy games. So he's very used to that, not within the conference, maybe outside of St. Mary's some years. But, that's something that they've been very used to is going and challenging those great teams.
I'll say this. I think it's a little different pressure. Though, being at Arizona, because when they were doing that at Gonzaga, if they lost, who cared?
Sure.
But at Arizona, you losing those games early, you get the little talk and, people wondering, is Tommy good enough? I've seen some stuff on Twitter. You can't always look at that, right? But with that being said, though, it's just that little bit of difference of expectations, right?
Let's hear from KJ Lewis, who says the effort that this team gave at Cincinnati is the effort that is needed to win on the road.
We got to keep that same intensity, that same, edge and, aggressiveness on the road and, be able to take a punch because, home court advantage is real in this league. And we know we're going to get the, the opponent's best shot over there. But we got to be able to rally together and, stay poised in those big-time moments.
Carter Bryant, who, again, had a big ball game coming off the bench for Arizona, got to stick together when things get rough.
We just can't splinter. We have to stick together. We have to galvanize. We have to reinforce everything so when the time comes for us to kind of blossom, because I feel like you see a lot of teams every year that blossom really early, and you look late in the season, you're like, wow, they looked really good early, but what happened? So just allowing us to have God's timing on that and just letting that come to fruition.
You know, Kelvin, toughness on the road and all this stuff, like people might think that means box out harder. That means set a screen harder. But to me, it's really the team toughness, like Carter Bryant just said right there, because 1 week, link in that chain and the whole system falls apart. You need all 5 guys to have confidence. And when you've got, 13, 14, 15,000 angry opponent fans screaming down on you and the other team comes back from a 19-0 run, that strength is really a group strength.
And I think a lot of it, what it really is, playing through getting fouled. Playing through the refs not blowing the whistle, blowing the whistle on you for stuff that they're not blowing the whistle on them. So it's a lot of mental toughness that you got to have, and physical, because they're going to be hitting you. They're going to be bumping you, doing stuff that you may get that call at home, right? But not on the road in a lot of these places. So to me, it's understanding that you have to play through and not get frustrated when you don't get some of the calls that you're used to getting at home or against lesser opponents.
Yeah, if it's not going your way. Where's your mentals at?
There it is.
All right, before we hear from Darren DeVries, the head coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Wildcats and Mountaineers in Morgantown. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
I am David Kelly. We've got Kelvin Efon, whose camera just keeps going wayward here. If you're watching on one of our many video streams here, I'm trying to now control this thing back. I have the ability to control these things now, but they still go crazy on occasion. So we've got Kelvin Efon, who's back on screen if you're watching. We got
he was back on screen.
There it goes again. So Kevin, you have to do the hands thing once I get you centered here and see if you can get that green light.
One hand
thing that green light thing to happen. We got JW Madden over there who's giving his green one-handed sign there to hopefully
it's great radio.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, it's multimedia now, folks. It's radio. It's video. You can watch our.
It's not 1950 anymore, guys.
You can watch our show on YouTube, on Facebook Live, on Twitch. There's a number of different places. You can also hear it on the radio, on your favorite streaming platform, Alexa, Google Play, any of those, as well as download our app, Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK, I remember one time David Adams, Sweet D, told me, he said, you have a face for radio.
Exactly, right?
I'm like,
I can't count the number of people that have told me that across the course of my 35-plus year career for sure.
Yeah, you're cracking up.
Let's hear from Darren DeVries. His team went into Kansas and got a big win to start Big 12 conference play, winning by 1 at the number 7 Jayhawks 62-61. They came home and beat Oklahoma State on Saturday by 19 points in a game they led by a whole lot more than that in the first half. Coach was asked if he was worried there was going to be a letdown after that win at Kansas.
Coach, you were talking yesterday about getting this team to focus on the next game, turning the page quickly, but now that it's all said and done, were you worried about any kind of letdown at all going into this game?
I worry every game, so it's I'm not great at taking each opponent and going like, oh, we'll win this one. Yeah. Again, that's, you come off a game like that, a lot of people were excited about it and rightfully so. But I felt good about this group, though. They practiced well. You didn't feel that. I didn't feel that from them at all. But it is sometimes hard when you can read your own press clippings and you go around town and everybody's telling you, a great game, good job. Yeah. So, but again, I give credit to our guys. They certainly didn't come out and play like that. The way they came out and approached the first half, I thought you could tell they were very engaged and in tune to what was going on right in front of us.
Again, this is the second meeting between these two teams. They met down in the Bahamas earlier this season. 83-76 was the final in that game. It went to overtime, and the West Virginia Mountaineers got a great performance by the coach's son, Tucker DeVries, who hit 8 3-point shots in that ball game, 8 of 12. And I mean, he was
contested 3-point shots.
He was just launching them. I mean, he was launching them from way behind the arc in that game.
I need to look up and see if he's any kin to Jared DeVries, a defensive player from Iowa back in the day. Are they from Iowa?
Possibly. I don't know.
I think they are. I'm going to have to go back
Cousins,
and listen to
possibly, maybe Cousins.
Yeah,
for sure. Fortunately or unfortunately, Tucker DeVries will not be on the floor tonight. He's battling a upper body injury, so they will be without him for this rematch tonight. But Darren talks about some of the other differences between U of A now and West Virginia now.
Biggest thing is we went from 80 degrees to 20 degrees, so it's a big adjustment. I haven't had a chance to watch them yet, but Corey has the scout and stuff. He says playing really well right now. They've changed a little bit of what they were doing in the Bahamas, and I said they're playing at a pretty high level. So we'll take from we're a little bit different too with our personnel. So we got to take that game, learn what we can from it, but also apply it to how does that work for how they're playing right now and how we're playing.
All right, we'll talk to Brad Howe coming up a little bit later and get some more information on what this West Virginia team looks like today. But right now, that is our first look at the Mountaineers.
That's been our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game. Brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every night. It's the Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Might be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. We'll tell you the Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the game coming up tonight. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Gameday, the post-game show. Much more straight ahead as we get you set for the Wildcats and the Mountaineers with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care, a proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or RoyalKia.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rocking K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
With these scratchers, I'll win enough dough to enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally know how to fix your car right.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck on that, guys. But if you need a sure thing, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. No appointment necessary, call ahead's welcome, or just stop by any of the 14 area locations.
And check out our full page of promotions and discounts at jackfurriers.com.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, best price, biggest inventory.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
KJ going to drive on Proctor right into him, and shot is good. Wow, how did he get it over him?
And a technical foul on KJ Lewis.
Our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
That was one of two technical fouls that KJ Lewis got earlier this season. The first one there you heard came against the Duke Blue Devils here at home. He would get another one down in the Bahamas in the Wildcats' loss to Oklahoma. And you'll remember that the West Virginia game was the first game that KJ did not start. And initially, it was believed to be because of that whole situation with the technicals getting a second tee. And then, of course, it kind of evolved after the trip into something a little bit different with just the ability to bring him off the bench versus starting and creating a little bit dynamic with a team that had been kind of going through some growing pains at the beginning of that. KJ kind of talked about the situation where he got the tee against Duke. He had gotten the tee against Oklahoma and how he needed to control his emotions better. Saying he cannot act out when he is out on the floor.
Just, something which is kind of personal. I don't want to talk about too much, but just wanted to get on the same page. Apologize to him and my teammates for, how I've been acting emotionally. Because I know I'm one of the leaders, of this group, so I'm just trying to be better in that aspect.
And it's interesting when I heard KJ say that initially, it sounded to me like there was something deeper going on there, maybe personally, and that's one of the things sometimes, guys, that we don't really know the dynamics of what's happening with all these kids during the course of a season. What might be happening at home with mom, dad, what might be happening at home with other family members, elderly family members who might be sick. And clearly it sounded to me when he said that like maybe there's something happening behind the scenes that's not even basketball related that we don't know about, that's creating maybe this anger or this. It really wasn't an anger, just kind of a lashing out kind of thing that we saw early in the season.
You just described why I don't generally bet on college athletics, because you don't know who just got dumped by their girlfriend, Kelvin.
Right.
or whose teammate took their girlfriend.
Right. Exactly that.
Trust.
Another way to look at it is
on the field and some of that was going down. I told you the story.
I've heard that story.
I won't tell nobody else, but trust, yes, it goes down.
Another way to look at that is, yes, the young man could be dealing with personal issues. The technical against Duke, do you remember why it came about? Is because he was 0 for 8, and the Duke bench was chirping at him, and he made a shot, and he pointed at the Duke bench and whoever was talking at him. Well, he's shooting 20% from 3. So, I mean, yes, it could be something personal at home, could be something all along those lines. It also could be something, Kelvin, like he spent all his summer working on that jump shot, and it's just not working in the games, and the Duke bench was giving him noise for it.
Well, to me, I think I know. As a player, from my player side, I'm gonna say losing. We're losing, man. I'm upset. And everybody don't know how to handle that. I mean, he's still a young guy, and he was a part of some winning early last year, and always ranked. And now we're not ranked. We're losing to teams that I think we're better than. I'm gonna blow my top. I'm gonna blow my top. So to me, that's what I saw. I saw a competitor. I saw a guy that's a defensive-minded, tough-minded playing guy. That's more of a role player type of guy that just was, ticked off that his team wasn't winning and not being successful. I wouldn't necessarily say, missing the jump shot, which I do think making it now, you can point over at him. But I think just not realizing the expectations that they had. Because remember when we was trying to name the 3-guard play and all these great things, and then all that just went down the drain? We haven't heard anything about it or whatever. I just think that, struck a nerve. Like, you're ticked, man. I want to win. I'm not here to
Can you speak to that real quick, Kelvin? Because there's a lot of similarities between you and KJ and the way that you approach the game and, like, what you want. And number one, you want to come out on top. Like, number one, you want to beat the other team across the way. So when it's not going the right way and maybe you're putting, you're giving 100% effort, it's not like you're out there lollygagging around, but maybe the team, maybe it's just not cohesive, maybe it's just not coming together. How do you individually deal with that being such a solid, like, competition being the number one thing at the top of the list? How do you deal with that internally when maybe it's not going great for the group?
Boy, it's rough. It's rough because you're so competitive. And he's that guy for our team. When I think about intensity, tough guy, athlete that can jump out the gym, chase people down and block their shots, go dunk on people, I think of KJ Lewis. I think of, as the tough guy on our team, I think of KJ Lewis, right? And so, you just, when you're losing, man, it makes you feel like everything in your world is not going to work. I don't have a chance to go to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not going to make the tournament. You just get so frustrated because you put so much in to that you're not the top NBA prospect. Your way is winning. And when I played football, DK, my only chance to get in the NFL was us winning. That was my only way to get a look, right? And so, it ticks when you take an L, man, and you're trying to figure out a way how to motivate the team and get the team going. It can put a lot of pressure on your shoulders.
Let's hear some more from KJ Lewis about his emotions getting away from him at times this season.
That's something I got to control too. I'm just an ultra competitive guy, and it really, I don't want to say nothing about rest. Game is going, and I just got to learn how to, find ways to control my emotions. And then when I want to be emotional with my teammates.
And that's the other thing, again, celebrate with your teammates is always going to be the rule. Don't celebrate or be demonstrative against the other team, because the other thing that I saw early was I felt like the referees were looking for that. There might have been a point of emphasis.
How many
this
texts
year
did Kerr Kriisa get from pointing at the opposing fans? Because he did that every single game, and I don't remember a lot of texts from that. So there must have been a point of emphasis this year, because that was a fairly quick whistle, unless something had been. Usually there's a warning, right, Kelvin, beforehand. If there's some extracurriculars going on, one more of those.
It may have been. They, because they don't let the scores table know. They tell you, hey, calm down. Hey, KJ. Or whatever his number, I can't think of his jersey number right now, but
number two.
And you, again, just as he said, just ultra competitive guy. And I'll say this too. He played in Texas, and man, we get up in each other's face. We talk our smack, and I think he lost himself for a second there. Sometimes you can lose yourself and get back to, what you think is needed in those situations. And look at the name of the teams you said, too, and the type of guys that they have that he was competing against. And I think that has something to do with it as well.
We speak about emotion, obviously coming from the players, but there's also a lot of emotion on the bench coming from the guys that don't necessarily play, the walk-ons that aren't necessarily going to get in some of these big ball games, the support staff, assistant coaches, managers, trainers, although I think J-Rock's pretty calm, mostly when he's on the bench. But also the equipment manager, who got some love after the game, Brian Berger. We talked a little bit about him, was a Cincinnati guy. Xavier grabbed. They practiced at Xavier in Cincinnati. And Coach Lloyd talked about Brian Brigger after they opened his press conference talking about Brian Brigger and what he means to this program.
Sorry it took us so long, guys. We were waiting for Brian Brigger, our equipment manager. He's from Cincinnati. I think he had a bunch of press stuff, so we're waiting to go after him. But no, hey, honestly, I'm just going to say this, and I probably get a little bit emotional. Brian Brigger, that's a great effing dude. And this guy, he's an Xavier guy, so he doesn't love the Cincinnati people. But what he's meant to our program, and he came before I was there, is so special. And you know what? We told our guys, when you have to dig deeper today, think of Brian Brigger. I mean, the passion he brings, and this is our equipment manager. The passion he brings every day, the professionalism he brings to his job, the team player that he is, I mean, says something about our culture. And our guys, I think, he ain't the easiest guy to pick up. But I think they picked him up after the game in the locker room. I thought we might have to wheelbarrow him out, but they picked him up, and so hey, I mean, Brian Brigger is someone we love, and you know what? Our love for him helped us dig a little bit deeper today. And I know normally coaches don't start out talking about an equipment manager at a press conference, but this dude's something different. He's special.
He's always pretty demonstrative. Is it different out there being able to?
I mean, I didn't even notice him in the game, but now he's been an amazing tour guide. We've been driving around. He's been pointing to everything, saying what this is, saying what that is, showing us his favorite dive bar because we practiced at Xavier yesterday. And I think he took the guys to a restaurant last night. The guys thought it was like 1.5 stars overrated, but he thought it was like a 6-star restaurant. But yeah, he's been great. It's been great to have him back. And you know what's really cool is he went to Xavier, went out there, worked with Sean, stayed with us, and tonight, you know what? He's fired up. We won, and he's fired up to go watch the Bengals play against the Steelers tonight with his dad at home, which is pretty cool.
Well, that game at least worked out from Brian. I can remember Brian. I was out covering the Super Bowl a few years ago out in Los Angeles, and I know he and Ryan Reynolds, who was also on staff during that time, both Cincinnati kids, went out there to see their Bengals play in the Super Bowl. And we kind of talked a little bit about this the other night, and we didn't get a chance to play the cut, so I wanted to play it here because Bruce Pascoe had asked Tommy last week about keeping guys like Brian Brigger, who had been on Sean's staff, Chris Rounds, the strength and conditioning coach who had been on Sean's staff, J-Rock, who has, been the trainer there for a number of years over many. I mean, J-Rock's been there since before I was there. I mean, he was there. I remember when I first got here, the transition from Lute to Russ Pennell in that staff. He's been around for that long, and why it was important to keep some elements of this program. You don't just come in and blow everything up. Here was Tommy Lloyd on why he likes having those guys around his program.
By acronyms now, there's a lot of guys that have stayed on with the program, and since I came here, and I think that continuity is really important. I'm not going to come in and assume that I know everything that is Arizona basketball, and I am going to be everything that Arizona basketball is going to be. Arizona basketball was amazing before I got here. And you know what? It'll probably be amazing after me. And this is my time in there, but so it's not about me. It's about the program. And those guys have helped me. I mean, when you talk about the guys, I could think Nate right here, Brigger, Rounds, J-Rock. Those 4 guys right there have helped me so much, navigate Arizona basketball. And they've been positive contributors, and they've really become lifelong friends. So I'm thankful for those guys, and to me, that's super important. Just that continuity and understanding that this is a lot bigger than me.
And I mean, again, and that's what I think that's when you hear Tommy talk about the culture that he's trying to build here. It starts with a lot of those people, and as someone and myself who is an ex-college basketball manager and worked in one of those support roles when I was in school. I mean, you need everybody. You need from the top on down. If you want to be a successful program, it takes not just the best high school basketball players in the country to come in and be those faces for you on the court, but it takes everybody that works behind the scenes, from the managers to the secretaries to the strength and conditioning staff to the nutritionists. I mean, it takes everybody to be one of the best programs.
To the pregame radio show.
and I thought one of the greatest things that he did when he came in, you kept those guys. The assistant coach stayed, right?
Murphy, yeah, we didn't mention Jack
right.
Murphy
Is
was
that
also
J-Rock?
no, J-Rock is the trainer, Justin Kukowski.
Okay, yeah, so you didn't mention
J-Rock.
Murphy. That was huge. And then one of the things that I told you guys about this, I thought what he did was, and I also give Coach Brennan credit for this as well, he played the guys that were here.
Yeah.
He started all 5. I was waiting to see how he put his hand in that. Like, I'm going to take this guy out. I'm going to put my imprint. This my team. I'm going to show that I'm taking over Arizona. He did the opposite. I heard that emotion in him right there about those guys, right? And it showed that he understood that he was coming to someone else's kids. And that he had to come in there and show respect to those guys. And guess what? It paid off huge for him because that record that he had those first couple seasons is going to be with him for the rest of his life. And it was all because of the way that he handled it when he came in. He came in and gave those guys, the Matherins, the Terrys, ownership, Coloco's ownership of this team and gave them and let them see. I mean, I think they started the whole year. Maybe one guy switched out or something. I'm not sure.
Pella, just went back and forth between fifth and sixth man. Yeah.
And what he did was he made sure that those guys understand that this was about we and not about me. Most of those coaches program won't say his name. Makovic. He said that he know more than the coach. He's forgotten more than any coach you guys ever had, or the last coach that was here.
Right.
That's a terrible start because that's the guy that recruited me here and gave me a chance. And you're talking trash about him. So it wasn't surprising to me when they had an uprising and got him out of here because ain't that what happened with him?
Yeah.
All the guys came together and got him out of there because you have to handle that delicately. Either you come in and get all of those guys out of there, kind of what West Virginia guy did, and start over with a whole new family, a whole new group, or you come in and embrace those guys. And he did the same with the managers, with everybody in the program, or you would see, it would be a difference in the success that he had.
And especially if you're inheriting like a bit of a dumpster fire where the team was 5-25 the year before. That was not the case. I mean, the reason why the coach prior to Coach Lloyd was left and maybe not getting to the Final Four or whatever, but it was certainly inherited a group, and the guys you just mentioned, Kelvin, were just ready to take that next step. So obviously super smart of him to make sure that he gave those guys, like you said, ownership of that team that year. But make it your
most
team.
Coaches don't do that, J-Dub.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Most coaches come in and switch the point guard and
it's
bring
called
their guys.
ego. Some coaches think they know continuity. That's a word we've been using all this whole time. But making sure that you have a holdover from whatever it was before you, wrong way, Kelvin, when you might have an uprising on your hands.
And I'll say this last thing. And he brought Barlow with him.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, he's starting. He's starting. He brought his boy with him. And when I seen the way that he handled that, which was at the end of the day better for Barlow because he had a chance to develop and to turn into what he was going to become.
Was that the last year that people had to sit out a year?
Oh, for transfer?
Yeah, because Barlow did not play the first year he was on campus, right?
But I don't know that he redshirted. I think he might have played a little bit. I don't remember him. I don't know that he redshirted that year. I'd have to go back and look at that.
Yeah, I'll have to see that. Okay. But yeah, man, that was just great by Lloyd, though, man. A lot of coaches messed that up, and I brought up Brennan. I thought Brennan did a great job of sticking with Fafita. I don't think he had anywhere to go. To any other guys to go with. But sticking with that core group of guys, you haven't, and a lot of people were saying, well, his plays are not working. I'm like, plays probably don't match the guys, but hey, let's not get into that. But I was just, again, I really respected that of Coach Brennan because, again, most guys come in and do a wholesale change and move guys around. And I didn't see him really do that at all during that season with guys that I thought, again, maybe didn't have any baggers for them, but I thought that, hey, Coach, let's shake this up a little bit, and see if we can get some more results. But he stuck with those guys.
He played He played his 37 games. His first year.
Yeah,
Barlow did, yeah.
He was just behind Coloco.
Yeah,
2021.
He didn't start.
2021 is the first year.
Right, 21-22. Well,
2021 is the first year that student athletes were not required to sit out a year when they transferred.
Right.
It was right around that time.
Yeah. Yep. So he didn't have to sit out.
Great rule, too.
Well, the rules are getting much better for transfers and JC kids and everybody else.
And I say this, and I don't know if y'all would know me now if they didn't have that rule. Y'all probably wouldn't know me because I would have probably left after my freshman
You'd be on
first
the,
semester.
up hanging in the rafters of the TCU, right?
There you go.
Yeah, for sure. Basketball.
All right. That is, let's see. What was our segment there? That was our Spotlight on a Cat. Yeah.
That's today's Spotlight on a Cat has been brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Much more coming up for the next 2 hours, getting you set for Arizona and West Virginia with Kelvin Efon and JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thona Autumn Nation.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, best price, biggest inventory.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Previs turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for two. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Martinez beats the press, get it to Bryant, down the lane and slam it home for Carter Bryant. Lead pass to Carter Bryant down court, laid up good, and he's fouled.
Arizona Wildcats getting set to take on the West Virginia Mountaineers over in Morgantown. Let's tell you what we've got coming up on hour number 2, and then we've got some breaking news to tell you about.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, hour number 2, we are going to give you your college basketball scoreboard. We'll look at what else is happening around the Big 12 Conference. That's brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers. Scouting report coming up this hour. Brad Howe. He is the radio analyst for the West Virginia Mountaineers radio network. He'll join us to tell us what is happening with West Virginia in the midst of a 7-game winning streak that started with their victory over the U of A. Best bets on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. U of A a 2.5-point favorite tonight, over under 142.5. Our view from courtside, Bruce Pascoe had a chance to catch up with the beat writer for the Arizona Daily Star. We'll get his thoughts on this trip as it relates to your Arizona Wildcats. All right, I mentioned we had some breaking news. The Las Vegas Raiders have fired Antonio Pierce after just one season as their head coach. The Arizona Wildcat alum who had ascended to that job after being a defensive coach on the Raiders had a lot of support from the players to get that job as head coach, but unfortunately, it did not go well at all this season for the Silver and Black in Las Vegas, and so Antonio Pierce is out after one season.
He can't go to college, right?
I don't think so.
I think it's 8 years. He got an 8-year show cause or whatever.
Yeah. It's a long time. So if he's going to continue coaching, it'll need to be in the National Football League as an assistant. Also, it has been Tacario Davis has announced that he is transferring from the University of Arizona to the University of Washington. I don't think that was any surprise to anyone at all. And I kind of look at that one kind of like, to me, well, at least that's what everybody was saying, that, you know, Tacario's going to be a number 1 pick. So I really wasn't anticipating he was going to be back here another year anyway after this year. Kind of like the situation with Christian Roland Wallace. When he left, I had anticipated he was going to be gone after that year to go to the NFL. He decided to go play another year at USC before making himself eligible for the draft. So same thing with Tacario. I didn't have him penciled in on next year's roster anyway. But good luck to him. Obviously, he's going to go up there and play with Jed Fish and reunite with some of the coach. I'm trying to remember who was the DB coach that went up there with him that obviously was probably instrumental in his early development and putting him in that position. to where he was thought of. I still think, I mean, and this is just me grading like I grade, I still think there's a lot of work for him to do to get to where a lot of people think he is. He certainly has the measurables to be a top cornerback in the NFL, but I need to see his ball skills continue to improve.
Tackling.
And his tackling, exactly.
And get his temperament together.
Yeah.
Because this year he was a little extra emotional early in the year. I thought it was some things that he was trying to prove for the scouts, and I don't think it quite went his way. But as you said, good luck to him. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I actually thought he was going last year, and I think a lot of those guys stayed because of trying to stick together.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't necessarily think they were doing what was best for them. So I'm not surprised with some of these transfers. I think Manu is the other one. Not surprised at all, because I think they, again, tried to stay together as a group to try to keep that winning going. But I could have told them that it was going to be different, bro. You have a whole different system, and this is football. It's not basketball where you can have 3 or 4 guys and it all work out for you. In football, you need everybody, working together to make that thing work. So I just felt like that, not surprised, and I thought that most of those guys would have went with Fish last year, honestly.
Indeed. So Antonio Pierce out in Las Vegas. Takario Davis transferring to the University of Washington. Carter Bryant does not appear to be going anywhere in the near future from the University of Arizona. He may go to the NBA after 1 year. You never know. I mean, he's starting to come on as a freshman, a small forward at times, power forward a little bit more now with the injury to Moteus Krivas and ascending to that role. Carter on playing that power forward spot now, getting more run at what we know as the 4 position.
I love it. I just love being on the floor and playing basketball. So just giving me more of an opportunity to be on the floor. It's hard when you're playing next to guys like Anthony Delorso and KJ. They're big-time guys. They're guys that are elite. They do really good things on both sides of basketball. But I think also allowing me to play on the floor at the same time as him, it brings just a spark that nobody else is going to have in the country to 2 big guards that can rebound the basketball, can push, can defend. I think it's going to be hard for teams in the Big 12 to kind of see us as the season goes on and we get more accustomed to the physicality and things of that nature for us to be stopped coming off the bench.
14 points in 15 minutes in that game against Cincinnati. He hit all 5 of his shots, 3 for 3 from 3. I think the other thing you hear, and we've talked about just kind of his temperament and his mentality, you got to love the respect he shows to his older teammates as well.
Man, every time I hear him talk, man, I don't know, you see the smile on my face, crazy goosebumps, man, because I was like, how old is he? But you can tell, man, again, the guys that have been around the mentors, man, that just really taught them right, man. And I do think he's a guy that we may have to worry about at the end of this year, especially with the position change, J-Dub. Showing that he's a guy that can guard different positions. I mean, that's huge in today's NBA.
Yeah.
And if you look at the draft boards, it's not really a lot of big names on that board. So he's a guy that's going to probably have a decision to make after the season. And I'm going to tell you guys this. I expect him to come back. I expect him to come back because of that mentor, Dad, that's probably telling him, no. I want you to develop. I want you to become the player that you can be by spending just a little bit more time. We're not going to rush this thing. And I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just going on what I've heard and seen from him already. So, man, when you see him having that type of respect for his juniors and seniors, and KJ just even being a sophomore, he tell you that, it's just a guy that just was raised right. That's period.
Yeah, I'm not ready to talk about NBA draft potential, but I will say this, Kelvin, in the NIL era, there's a couple more reasons to come back than you might not have had back in our day. So, yeah, I mean, the young man clearly, like Kelvin laid out there, he's always seeking out that guidance. Like he's made choices to go and play with great players, and that's just a sign of a young man unfinished. We don't know what Carter Bryant's final form will look like in basketball, but we can say he's got a great head on his shoulders, incredible measurables, and is a willing student. He clearly is listening because, like Coach says all the time, maybe the 3-4 switch isn't quite as drastic in that offense, But it's a completely different setup, Kelvin, when you're talking about what his responsibilities are, especially in freeing up the 5. And that's not something that he would have to have done in the first couple of months. So after the switch over, but what you heard right there was, I'm just happy to be on the court. I'm just happy to get out there and get some minutes.
And J-Dub, everything that you said is why he's going to end up being an NBA prospect. Everything that you just said. Of course,
I mean, as far as
that's what they're looking for
potential,
right now.
And the length, what you mentioned was the length and the willingness to guard for position. He's not going to be matching up against, Victor Wembanyama anytime soon, but as far as he's clearly able to move his feet out there and has length enough to challenge shots at the rim and can come off his man to challenge shots. I mean, as far as his potential to be a very, very good defender at the next level, it's all about it. But you can hear when he talks, Kelvin, that he's a student of the game. Yes, and right now he's just soaking it all in and learning from those guys who've been there, done that.
Tommy Lloyd on Carter's big night in the win in Queen City.
The one thing about Carter is, I've told him, I mean, he checks 2 boxes that are really hard to check. He's an elite talent and he has elite character. The game is going to come to him. The refinement's going to come. The experience is going to come. And the progress he's made in the last month has been game-changing for us. And I'm really proud of him because you know what? When you're somebody with Carter's stature and you come to a place like Arizona, the expectations, might be a little unrealistic. Sometimes it works out for freshmen right away. A lot of times it doesn't. And you just got to hang with it. And he's hung with it. And he's continued to get better. He has had an amazing attitude. I mean, he hits 5 for 5, 3 for 3. He should have made that other free throw. He had a perfect night, Carter. But just super proud of him and the person that he is.
We've got to. I think we've got to come up with a list of Tommyisms and maybe put that out to people. What Tommyism do you like the most? Hang with it is one we've heard several times today. Let it rip is another one that I like. We'll put together that list and maybe put it up on our website and let people vote on their favorite Tommyisms. All right, what's happening around the rest of college basketball tonight?
Let's take a look at what's happening today around the rest of the country. Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, these are the games going on in the Big 12 tonight. Utah is at number 3, Iowa State. The Utes have yet to win in conference, 0-2. And
Good luck, Utes.
The Cyclones are one of the 4-2-0 teams.
They're tough, especially at home.
Cincinnati will be looking for their first win at Baylor tonight down at the new fabulous Foster Pavilion. Kansas State on the road at Oklahoma State. They are also, Oklahoma State, the Cowboys are 0-2 in conference play. And Texas Tech will play BYU. Let me just check. I don't know. There was one game last night in conference play, and that was number 12 Houston beat TCU 65-46. So TCU, who opened with a loss to the Wildcats and then went home and won, they are now 1-2. There was also a game on Sunday. Number 7 Kansas knocked off Central Florida 99-48. And tomorrow there'll be 2 games on the schedule. Arizona State will play at number 11 Kansas, and then Colorado will play at Central Florida. Colorado also one of the Four Corner schools that is looking for their first win in conference play. Top 25 tonight. Let's see if there's any big games.
There's one big game
of note. You've got number 24 Michigan playing at Poly Pavilion. I think this is the first time, might be the first time ever, if I heard correctly, that these two teams have played basketball against each other. At least in obviously UCLA coming off a loss. They lost at Nebraska over the weekend. So you got number 24 Michigan at number 22 UCLA tonight at Poly Pavilion. Number 2 Auburn will travel to Texas this evening.
I read a very fun factoid this week about Auburn. 22.8, Kelvin. 22.8 is the average age of their starting 5.
Wow.
10 seniors. 10 seniors on that Auburn roster. So you want to know why Auburn's so good this year? It is.
And let me say something to that, J-Dub. That's so hard. To have 10 seniors willing to work together and come together. You got to give Bruce Pearl right? That's still Bruce Pearl, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Auburn, yeah.
You got to give him some credit to be able to have those guys play. He always get a group that you would never be able to think that could play together and get those guys to play together and come together. But 10 seniors on the team almost seems impossible.
Think about the question we just had, though. It's like, how do you get an 18-year-old McDonald's All-American to buy his way into the system is a different question than how do you get these 23-year-olds to all work together who spent 5 years in college basketball already. As far as ego goes, Kelvin, as far as what their own personal goals are, that's what you're talking about managing from the coaching staff. But as far as having to have those guys figure things out, they've already figured it all out. It's just a matter of going out there and doing it.
And especially with Auburn don't get guys to Bruce Pearl don't get a bunch of guys to the NBA. So being able to do that with guys with not even having that carrot of I can help you get to the NBA, that's even more impressive. But he's an old Division II coach. He understands how to put guys together and get them to play. We've seen it for years with him.
Number 1, Tennessee is on the road at 8th-ranked Florida tonight. The Gators coming off that loss over the weekend against Kentucky on the road. That is a 1 versus 8 game tonight. The 8th-ranked Gators. Jordan Gainey out of South Point Catholic High School has played in 14 games for Tennessee this year. Averaging 27 minutes. That's the fourth most minutes on that team, scoring 11 points and grabbing 3.5 rebounds to 2 assists per ball game. So Jordan Gainey playing very well at Tennessee.
And he's a guy that initially was going to Pima, but he ended up going to prep school, right? 'Cause I've been hearing some conversations about this, about guys, going to 5th year of high school or whatever. First of all, I feel like to each his own, right? But he went a 5th year. Then he went to a small Division I and proved that he could play at this level. He didn't use his dad, which was the Jordan Gainey?
I forget Justin. Justin's his dad,
Justin Gainey. He didn't use his dad and say, "Hey, Dad, get me in where you're at." No, he went and worked for it. He went to prep school for a year.
He went to South Carolina. I mean, he went
after
to
prep school.
No, it was a small school. South Carolina Upstate was the first school.
Yeah, South Carolina Upstate.
But I'm saying from Tucson to South, it wasn't just like he went somewhere a couple states over. Like he went all the way across the country.
Man, so I just give him credit for believing in himself because, again, a lot of recruits don't come to Tucson, right? And maybe you don't get seen. You still need to grow. You still need to do some things, whatever. But that kid believed in himself, and he kept going, man. And I'm real proud to see him accomplish some of the things that he has.
Hey, look, when I see birthplace Tucson, Arizona on a guy who's on the number 1 team in the country, averaging 10 and 5. I mean, I don't care if he had a chance to come here and didn't. Like this. Get out there, Kelvin. You've been training kids here in the old Pueblo for a long time. When you see a guy have success coming out of here, man, it's always great to see.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, South Kent School was the post-grad prep school he went to before going to USC Upstate, which is in South Carolina.
The Spartans.
Exactly.
The
Spartans.
You got to believe, man.
Absolutely.
Gotta believe.
In his senior year there now at West Virginia on the number 1 team in the country. We'll see maybe if we can get Jordan Gainey on the show. I'm sorry, Tennessee. What did I say? Kentucky? West Virginia, yeah. That's tonight's game for Arizona. We'll get a break in here because we're going to talk about the West Virginia Mountaineers coming up next with the analyst on the radio. Brad Howe will join us with your scouting report. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
My water heater broke and Cummings replaced it the same day. A great experience.
Those are kind words we often hear. Hi, I'm Jay Cummings, owner of Cummings Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. When your water heater goes out, you need a new one fast. We have the largest inventory of water heaters in southern Arizona. We're ready to install yours, often the same day. From gas to electric, residential to commercial, Cummings has you covered.
For heating, air, and plumbing, call Cummings. wins.
ROC number 113429.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. CoolWillies.com.
If you're suffering from back pain and your physician is giving you a back brace or a pain pill or an injection and not explain the process of what you have and how to rehabilitate yourself, then there might be something missing. I'm Tom Corey. I'm a physiatrist here at Desert Sky Spine and Pain. If you're looking to find the root cause of your pain, any pain that's limiting your function, limiting the things that you want to do in life, call us at 520-229-2080 or find us on the web at desertskymedicine.com.
The Window Depot is more than a window store. The Window Depot is a one-stop warehouse with everything you need for your complete home remodel. Shop the aisles of pre-built cabinets in a variety of colors, granite and quartz countertops, sinks, skylights, and hardware to complete your project. Need a custom order? We can help. Our designers offer free design services and can special order everything you need for your kitchen or bathroom remodel today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden. Time now for our look at today's Wildcat opponent. The scouting report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there.
And our scouting report comes from yet another person who is going to be sitting courtside for the game tonight in Morgantown. His name is Brad Howe. He is the radio analyst on the Mountaineers Radio Network. And this is meeting number 2 between these two teams. First of all, Brad, were you down in the Bahamas, and how did you enjoy it down there?
Yeah, I was, and great to be with you. But yes, I was down in the Bahamas. It was a fun trip. What a great event! Not just the level of competition down there, but I thought the job the organizers did in putting that on was really fantastic. Great atmosphere, super high level competition. So yeah, absolutely wonderful event.
All right, so let's update everybody on where this team is now since the meeting between the two back in November. I think obviously the biggest difference is the injury to Tucker DeVries. What happened there, and what is his status in terms of how soon you guys might be able to get him back in the lineup?
Yeah, you're right. That is the biggest thing that jumps out, especially in this particular game. That was the game against Arizona the first time when Tucker really showed West Virginia fans what he's all about. Obviously, one of the great players in this country, a two-time Player of the Year of the Missouri Valley Conference. And Arizona got his best performance with the 8 threes. And as we all remember that watched that game, some of those came from well beyond the three-point line. So that's a significant difference. The most significant difference, in my opinion, coming into this game is West Virginia's got to find a way to replace those points and those shots and the ability to spread the defense. As far as the injury update on Tucker, it's been really closed-lipped from the program about what that is, when he will return, if there's a potential return available. It's just right now just listed as day-to-day, but I would not expect to see Tucker in this game and certainly no timetable for his return at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about obviously that loss scoring. That's 15 points a game out of this lineup. However, we've seen the emergence of Javon Small, who was another catalyst in that win for the Mountaineers over the Wildcats earlier this season. The performances he has put up, obviously the last 2 games out and getting you guys out to that 2-0 start has allowed him to become the Big 12 Player of the Week. Has that kind of been one of the drives? As you know, without Tucker, Javon kind of maybe thought, I need to step up and take a little bit more of this scoring role.
Yeah, you're exactly right on, and that's what Darren DeVries has been preaching to Javon really since the start of the season. He has asked him to be more aggressive on the scoring side of things, and you mentioned Javon's recent Player of the Week award in the Big 12, and guys, I really think he's playing as well as anybody nationally, never mind just this league through the last couple of games. Controls the pace of the game about as well as any player I've seen here at West Virginia, and I've been around this program for almost 30 years. Just outstanding and playing at a really elite level. So yeah, you're gonna see him, as I know that will be the focus of the Arizona scouting report, is trying to get the ball out of his hands. That's what Kansas tried to do. That's what Oklahoma State tried to do, to really no avail. He was able to just control the pace, control that pick and roll. You're going to see a lot of middle ball screen pick and roll from West Virginia, putting Javon in some action. So he's been critical. He's the one that has picked up that scoring, one of the guys that's picked up that scoring with Tucker's absence. But yeah, he's the first guy that's going to lead the scouting report from Arizona tonight, because he's playing at an elite level right now.
And speaking of it is the scouting report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there. We're chatting with the radio analyst for the West Virginia Mountaineers, Brad Howell. And Brad, when we just to kind of maybe circle a little bit back to Tucker DeVries' injury, who's the guy that's had to? Has it been one guy that's had to step into that, or has gotten those starts now, or has Darren DeVries kind of spread those around in terms of that starting position?
No, it's been pretty similar. I think the one player that has popped forth since the Bahamas that Arizona didn't necessarily get a great look at is a freshman by the name of Jonathan Powell, 6'6" guard / small forward that's from the Dayton area of Ohio. Did not play well against Arizona, and as a true freshman, to be expected, took some time to get his feet wet against this level of competition. He's really started to play as of late. He's a tremendous shooter, and he's the guy that West Virginia is going to ask to pick up some of that scoring slack if Tucker's not available to play in this game. He did so in Lawrence, Kansas. Really impressive effort for his first time in that building on the road as a true freshman, knocked down multiple threes. He did the same thing back on Saturday in the Coliseum against Oklahoma State. So he's a guy you're going to see West Virginia try and get open from the corner in particular, the wings as well, and he'll be the second most frequent three-point shooter behind Javon Small. So he's a guy to look for. Jonathan Powell is his name. And then the third piece, another component to this, will be a guy by the name of Amani Hansberry, who did play against Arizona the first time, had 13 points, 10 rebounds. So West Virginia will try and try and neutralize Arizona's size a little bit by bringing Hansberry out, looking for him in that pick and roll game with Small to be available to hit some threes off the pick and pop. So watch Powell and Hansberry if you're an Arizona fan looking at the offensive side for West Virginia.
Mountaineers radio analyst Brad Howe is our guest. Brad, the West Virginia, man, they've really kind of put a staple out there so far at the defensive end of the floor as well. Currently ranked third in the conference, allowing just 63 points per game. Wildcats, obviously a team that like to score in the 80s, potentially into the 90s. What is kind of keyed that West Virginia defense?
Yeah, you're right. And I do think that's the most critical matchup in tonight's game. Arizona's, I don't need to tell you or your listeners how great Arizona is in the transition game, getting up and down the floor. They're going to get a West Virginia team that right now sits 10th nationally in points per possession in transition defense. So that's really been a key to West Virginia's wins, I thought, against Arizona the first time, against Gonzaga in the Bahamas, Kansas certainly, and then Oklahoma State, who loves to run, back on Saturday. West Virginia's done a great job of getting back in transition, creating a wall of defenders around the three-point line, top of the key, that has slowed that transition game. West Virginia had success doing that to Arizona in the first matchup. I realize Arizona's playing as well as it has all year over these last 5 games in particular, when the transition game has been really good. So I think that's a critical matchup, an elite running transition team in Arizona against what has been an elite transition defense team against West Virginia. Which one of those areas comes through, that probably indicates and dictates which team wins this game tonight.
Well, and you talk about, obviously you mentioned Jonathan Powell earlier, a bigger guy at 6'6" there who can give you some presence defensively out there on the perimeter. Toby Akani is another guy at 6'8". How does he play into that defensive scheme?
Yeah, he's super versatile. That's a good question and a great point. He was really good against Arizona the first time on the offensive end, scored 20, his season high, which was critical, so you're going to need him to score again tonight. But he's been so valuable for West Virginia. He can switch and guard anything 1 through 5. He can stick on a point guard. You'll see him on Love at times tonight in switches. He'll also be critical down low. I know Trey Townsend was so valuable offensively for the Cats against West Virginia in the Bahamas. So that's one of the biggest questions. Tucker was outstanding offensively with the 8 threes, but defensively, not having him, if he doesn't go tonight, that takes a big body out of a lineup for West Virginia that's not very big to begin with. So I think there's some concerns inside for West Virginia about how do they keep Awaka off the offensive glass, one of the elite or maybe the best offensive rebounder in the country. Then what do they do with Townsend? So I think that size matchup is going to be critical tonight. Okani plays a big piece of that. Which one of those guys, or both at times, will he guard? So, yeah, super athletic, 6'8", really springy, can jump, and is a really valuable, versatile piece for this Mountaineer team.
We're chatting with Brad Howe. He is the radio analyst on the West Virginia Mountaineers Network. It is your scouting report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there. The Mountaineers back in the top 25 for the first time in several seasons. Obviously, people have to be excited about that. Brad, surprised, though, about this quick start for the team? And obviously, you guys have gotten a chance to start. The win streak started with that victory over Arizona, and the team now at 11-2 riding this winning wave.
Yeah, I think there's no question. You have to say it's a surprise. You're literally talking about every player on the roster that has played a minute for West Virginia this year is brand new, an entirely new coaching staff. The only holdover player-wise is a kid by the name of Ofri Neve who's redshirting this year. So when you talk about rebuilding a program, this isn't even a rebuild. This is just totally from scratch. You have to start building the foundation back up. So to say that you have 11 wins, 2 losses, and you're sitting in the top 25, yeah, I think that's absolutely a surprise. And people are thrilled with Darren DeVries and the staff and the job they've done. So it's been tremendous. I think there's no doubt going into that tournament down in the Bahamas certainly added some confidence to this team and some belief. You come out of that and you win 2 of 3 games in over 3 days, 2 of which are ranked teams, Gonzaga first, and then certainly that Arizona win that you just alluded to. All 3 coming in overtime, I think gave this program and this team a lot of confidence to move forward. And they've just been able to continue it, even with these injuries and the lack of Tucker DeVries being available. So, listen, I think Darren knows as well as anybody, this league is as good as it gets nationally. It's an absolute gauntlet. There's no let-up, and that's evidence tonight by you're 2-0, you've started 2-0, you've started tremendously well, yet here comes a very talented Arizona team coming in here. And I think West Virginia fans and this team know exactly what they're getting tonight in this really good Wildcat team.
All right, 2 questions I got to ask you about former Arizona Wildcats. I posed this one to Greg Carey when we talked to him before the last game. What is your Kerr Kriisa experience?
Yeah, I think it was up and down, man, with Kerr here. It was really wild. Some excitement when he arrived, and then serving an NCAA suspension for the first 9 games. So I think at the end of the day, that story last year for West Virginia was such a disjointed program in a year of transition from Bob Huggins to Josh Eilert, who did everything he could in an interim role. And I think that showed on the court with guys like Kerr Kriisa and Jesse Edwards and Raekwon Battle, tons of high-end talent that just really never had a chance to gel and play together as much as they had. So I think the Kerr Kriisa experience was certainly up and down, as it's been wherever he's been, I realize.
And then the excitement of the return of Rich Rod.
Yeah, you talk about surprise. You asked me if the basketball team was a surprise, and it was. It pales in comparison to the return of Rich Rodriguez. I was working in the WVU athletic department during his first tenure, and it was as good as it gets with West Virginia, right on the brink of playing for a national championship when Rich was here the first time, and he was the hottest coach in America at the time when he left to go to Michigan, and it's certainly been a tumultuous time in his career since then. I know he had some success there at Arizona, winning the Pac-10 title that one year and getting him in the Fiesta Bowl. And the guy can certainly coach. There's no question about that. This is a different program, a different league, a different college football landscape than when Rich was here the first time. But when you talk about a guy that can certainly X and O and can certainly recruit and brings a presence, and listen, this is a tough job here at West Virginia, football or basketball, and you have a guy in Rich Rodriguez that understands the landscape as well as anybody. He's from here, he played here, and certainly coached here. So rarely when you get a coaching change do you get somebody that comes in that understands the landscape as well as Rich does. So I think there's a big belief. There's a let bygones be bygones from what happened before and the leaving the first time. I think there's some real excitement around this program and thrilled to have one of their own back here in West Virginia and Rich.
It's Arizona and West Virginia. Tip-off just coming up shortly at 5 o'clock. Hey, Brad, appreciate you joining us, and have a great call tonight with Tony Caridi.
Anytime. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
Not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or RoyalKia.com.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Rightway is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 five-star Google reviews, you can trust Rightway to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Rightway today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Have you ever heard of the 5 Ps? That's right, the 5 Ps. These can be applied to most every area of your life, but it's especially true for you and your money. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and many years ago when I was a young man in the Marine Corps, I learned about the 5 Ps. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Now, you can't control what's happening with the stock market, but you can control how you plan for it. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have been helping our clients with the 5 Ps for years. We have hearts of teachers and will never complicate by using financial jargon. Our fee structure is transparent. The more you make, the more we make. The majority of our clients come from other financial advisors. Isn't it time for a second opinion to allow Trajan Wealth to help you with the 5 Ps too? Call Trajan today, 321-4100, or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Arizona, West Virginia coming up here. 4:30 will be network pregame time. 5 o'clock tip-off in Morgantown, West Virginia. First time the Wildcats have been down to Morgantown in, let's see, we said 1950, and that was in December of 1950. So just over, what is my math, 75 years? 74 years, just over 74 years. Wow. Since the last time the Wildcat basketball team played West Virginia on their home turf. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Boy, did Henry Vasar have a pretty good ball game last time out against the Cincinnati Bearcats. That was something that, again, he continues to play extremely good basketball since getting into a primary role for this team. And Tommy Lloyd talked a little bit about Henry Vasar and the performance that he has been showing over the course of the last 4 games.
Henry knows this. I've stuck with him through thick and thin, and I've always been a huge Henry Vasar fan. He and I have always had great conversations, and you know what? He's finally getting his chance. And with getting his chance, he's getting some game confidence. And so is Carter. I mean, game confidence is a huge deal. To have confidence in games. And, you get better in workouts, you get better in practice, but to be able to do it in games really kind of cements it. So I think these guys are taking the next steps as players, and I look forward. They know that I'm going to probably come with 3 or 4 things on film tomorrow that they could do better, and that's just how we operate.
Well, that's the coach's job, to find the little things, the things to sharpen as you move forward. Henry Vasar, we heard a little bit from Carter Bryant earlier in the show. And KJ Lewis obviously has been coming off the bench since the last time that these two teams played down in the Bahamas. But Henry Vasar, KJ Lewis, and Carter Bryant are providing 31 points per game combined off the bench in the first 2 Big 12 games for the Arizona Wildcats, and they are doing so while shooting 66% from the floor. Pretty good for those two guys. Now, the flip side to that, it was a little bit uneven performance for Toby Awaka in Cincinnati, and Tommy addressed that aspect of it.
He had a couple tough fouls, the intentional foul or the flagrant foul, and he had another one where he chucked the guy in the lane, and then Henry gets in there. I think Henry was plus 20. I mean, that matters. I don't know the stats in the moment of the game, but you feel him as a coach, and when you that's got a guy that's plus 20 and helping you move the ball and handling the pressure, I mean, you kind of roll with that guy. And other days it might be Tobe. But Tobe's been getting better and better and better. I mean, his feel for the game, his understanding what we're trying to do is getting better every day as well.
And guys, one of the things we didn't get into on the post-game show the other night, which I thought was kind of interesting coming out of halftime, was how they immediately, Trey had a little bit of a slow first half. They immediately, and we talk about running some plays there, as we were talking about early in the show, ran some plays for Trey Townsend to get him some looks down low to try to get him some points, because he had missed a couple of jumpers within about 8 feet in that first half, and so maybe wasn't necessarily feeling real good about himself. But I liked how Tommy immediately tried to get him involved in the offense early in that second half against Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think for this team to really be whole, at some point Townsend is going to have to be more effective for this squad. And I think Coach understands that too. That's the reason why he did it. And if you go back and look at the way that he played at Oakland, it was all set plays, right? And with the 4 guys playing around him, they're setting screens, doing different things to get him in a one-on-one position. So I think that's smart of Coach, because, again, at the end of the day, Townsend, to me, and I got to watch what I'm saying right now with the way the Carter Bryant is coming on, but to me, Townsend, with his size and his experience, is going to be key down the stretch on how good this team actually ends up.
I mean, how do you play inside out, which is what Coach Lloyd is trying to do? I mean, we all know that. How do you play inside out, without Mo Krivas in there? Well, you got to go, Kelvin, to your best post option, and Trey Townsend is by far their best post option as far as a guy who's been there, done that. He might have a little bit of size issues against some of the bigger front courts that are out there, finishing over the top of guys. But as far as a guy you want down there who's got all the angles and understands, leverage and all those different things, Kelvin, and he's a man, right? That's a man down there. So at some point, like Kelvin said, you need Trey Townsend to be a problem for other teams on the block, because that's just going to open up all the cutting lanes and all the corner shots for all the other players. Right now, without Mo in there, you need Trey to be established on that post.
I think that's the thing that I worry the most about, maybe with those two guys. When you're talking about Awaka and Townsend, you talked about them maybe being a little bit undersized. I think it was one of them got the ball down low and got his shot blocked back to center court. Can they score over some of those bigger guys? I think it was like Bondiago and some of those guys that you're going to see in this conference.
Well, I think it's going to be how Coach set it up, because a lot of time when you're going against those type of shot blockers, you need a screen. Also, I think Townsend facing up from the elbow, being able to take those guys off the dribble and
bigger guy, take him outside. Littler guy, take him inside.
Exactly, and be able to take those guys off the dribble. But it's tough for him because he's always he's ending up with a good defender going against him. And I think, though, with Vazar getting better, that's going to pull the big man away from the basket sometimes. You have to follow Vazar around the court, and that's going to open up some more one-on-one opportunities for Townsend. I just think it's tough for those two, Tobe and Townsend, to be at the game at the same time, because both of them are non-shooters right now. And Townsend can shoot the ball. I've seen his form. He has good form. And Tobe has made one three-pointer. So I don't want to not acknowledge that. But at the end of the day, that's not their calling card. And defenses are not going to play them for that. So it makes it tough on those guys to be able to score when both of those guys are in the game together.
Real quick, DK, the other problem with that is what we've seen from the success of Arizona's team offensively in these last 4 or 5 games is open space for cutters, especially baseline cuts. We've seen a couple of dunks. Carter Bryant, KJ both had one. That space isn't there when you're constantly trying to establish somebody on the post. So there's a balance there. And what, Kelvin and you are both talking about, the option of having Vazar go out to the three-point line, Townsend, Awaka's not necessarily comfortable from out there, but spacing as far as getting out of the paint when it's necessary, Kelvin, to make sure, because what's the strength of this team? Guards driving to the basket. cutters coming off ball, extra defensive attention to Caleb Love, somebody's open. So when it comes down to that, if you don't have a 7'3" guy who can finish at a 60-65% clip on the block, which is what Mo Krivas was meant to be coming into this season, establishing that the defense must collapse on that player, with him not in the lineup, Kelvin, and maybe some undersized guys fill in that spot, you really need that space open for those cutters as well. So there's got to be a balance. Sometimes you establish on the block, if not, get out of there and let those guys have some space to roam.
And I say the other adjustment was Carter Bryant as well, playing the 4. That helps spaces it out and give Tobey and Townsend more room to operate, and a better passer at the 4 position, because Townsend hasn't really shown that at the 4 of being able to make the lobs, and I haven't seen him get in the middle of the zone and kick it to the opposite side for the 3-pointer. I've seen Carter Bryant do that. I've seen Vazar do that. So those guys are somewhat better passing options as well.
You know what's weird is, like, most of the Townsend highlights I saw from his time at Oakland, it was really good in tight spaces with those quick interior passes, but I think a lot of that had to do, Kelvin, with the idea that the sets they were running at Oakland, a lot of those guys coming off the perimeter knew which side of him to cut off of. Yeah. He understood where they were trying to move, and still trying to figure out the tendencies of those guys.
They were set plays.
Exactly. Like, he knew exactly where those guys were going to be, and now what he's doing is he's catching the ball in the block, maybe seeing a double or a little extra attention, and he has to read and figure out where the cutter's coming from, as opposed to just knowing it because they've been practicing it all week long.
Speaking of guys getting to the basket, I want to talk a bit about Javon Small, the guard for West Virginia, who is the Big 12 Player of the Week. It seems like, just watching, some of the tape of these last few games, he's getting a lot of his points at the rim. I mean, like, there was one shot he made where he kind of fell down, picked himself up, picked the ball up, and turned around and hit a shot, a contested shot from the corner that was pretty nice. But he's really, really attacking the paint for this team. How do you try to stop him tonight?
Well, you know what? That's tough. Now, with DeVries being out, that helps out a little bit, because that's, one less guy you have to worry about. And so you can, have hopefully drop another guy in to help out. But their system is the reason why he's successful. Those guys are spread out, 5 out, and you have to respect them. You have to go out there and check that guy. Now it opens up the rim for his scoring at the rim. So I think it's their system that's, making it where he can use his talents and get into the lane and be a scorer, because you look at their team, it's a small squad. It's a small but feisty squad, and all those guys are more perimeter-oriented, and that just, again, opens up the lane.
I'll tell you one thing, DK. Javon Small is 4 for 21 in his last 3 games from deep. So as far as getting to the rim, that might be a necessity, because, the game plan tonight, you already know what it's going to be. I mean, that's a guy that is
drop coverage.
You want to hear the numbers? I got the numbers written down. You ready?
Yeah.
26% of their points, 33% of their assists. That's what Javon Smalls brings.
Yeah.
And without DeVries in there, I mean, that he makes it go.
And he's doing a little bit of everything, right? In winning Player of the Week, he's averaging 19 points and 11 rebounds. He had double-digit rebound games in both those games.
6-3, right?
And over Kansas and Oklahoma State.
And I want to see how Vazar and Carter Bryant affects him now, because now we can double. Now we can hedge with those guys. I don't know how well Tobey could do that. I didn't see Vazar ever.
Well, there was no doubling.
Krivas.
I'd never seen Krivas. He always was in drop coverage. Now, with those guys we always talk about the feet of Vazar, right? Now, with Carter Bryant and him getting more significant minutes, I'm interested to see what the difference is, and are we able to trap out there? Because we haven't been doing a lot of that. Remember Koloko? Koloko would go all the way out to half court and make you hedge around him and get back to his man. Well, those some of the things that we saw, and we said that the other day about Vazar. Remember when he did the back pedal back into the guy and covered and slapped the ball away? We haven't seen any of that this year. So I'm excited to see how these guys help in this game versus these guys, because I think they're more athletic and be able to guard them on
And
the
you
perimeter.
couldn't double Javon last game out, because DeVries had 8 threes. So, I mean, and he was cooking, especially in that second half and late into the game. So, I mean, without him out there, without that threat, Kelvin, you're definitely going to see a little bit more attention to Mr. Small tonight.
All right, let's find out who that Mountaineer is going to be that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight.
Who is today's Pest of the Game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at BePestFree.com.
I meant to look up who our pests of the game were from the last game, and I forgot to do that. So I'm trying to remember who I had, but I don't remember Obviously, Tucker DeVries is out tonight, so that's 15 points and 5 rebounds, and a guy that can bury threes that won't be on the court this evening. But again, even without him, he's missed the last 5 games, and they've won them all. So there's plenty of guys out there. I'm going to go with Toby Okani just because I think he has been a real catalyst for them. 5th-year guy at the defensive end of the floor. And this is a team that, as much as we talk about how they beat us with the 3, they're winning a lot of these games at the defensive end of the floor because they are just absolutely stifling teams. I think they're only averaging 63 points per game allowed. And Toby Okani, a big 6'8" guy that can defend the perimeter, like we heard from our guy Brad Howe there. I'm going to go with Toby Okani as my best of the game.
Yeah, and that was my guy, too, because of 3 for 5 from 3 versus us last time we played them. And to me, that's one of the ways that they really hurt us because they could draw our bigs out, and we had to respect that, and it opened the lane up for Javon. I'm going to go with Armani Hansberry.
I think that was my guy last time.
Okay, he had 13. He had 13 and 10 against us. Really rebounded the ball well versus a big squad that we had on that floor. So I'm interested to see what we do to try to deal with him this time.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go with Okani as well. I just think his defense last time, the 20 points. But I'm going to keep it as simple as possible because I am stupid. So, Javon Small. I mean, come on. That's the dude who makes it go. Two steals a game to go along with 5 assists and 20 points. I mean, that's about as pesty as it gets.
And watch it be Jonathan Powell, who's a freshman, but we've seen some freshmen who can
They
come.
won't win if it's him.
It's always
they
somebody.
won't win.
It's always
if it's
somebody
one of
you
these
don't
3
expect.
guys, if it's one of these 3 guys, they have a great chance to win. If these 3 guys don't play well, they're not winning. So go ahead, freshman.
All right. Those are the guys we think will get underneath the Wildcats' skin today.
That's today's Pest of the Game. The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Visit BePestFree.com.
Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day rolls on after this timeout on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rocking K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead, live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Donna Ogden Nation.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto, professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Previs turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for 2. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
At high, Del Orso has to launch a deep 3. Rims out, no good. Long rebound. Out to Townsend to the bucket. Slam it home.
Anthony Del Orso feeding Trey Townsend, a couple guys who have come over to the University of Arizona from mid-majors. We'll dive into a little bit about how those 2 guys are doing as we continue to get you set for Arizona and West Virginia tonight. Final hour of our program. We've got you till 4:30. Network takes over with Brian Jeffries and Reggie Geary down in Morgantown coming up at 4:30. Let's tell you what we've got going on for the last hour of this show.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right. Final stages here. We'll get into our best bets. Arizona is a 2.5-point favorite tonight in Morgantown. The over-under on this one is 142.5. I continue to lead on this, so we'll see if the guys can make some picks to try to catch up. View from courtside. Bruce Pascoe will be there covering the game tonight for the Arizona Daily Star. We will talk to Bruce about the Arizona Wildcats. Keys to the game, starting lineups, all of that is still straight ahead tonight for you on Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. So just how are Anthony Del Orso and Trey Townsend acclimating to big boy Division I basketball coming up from mid-majors Campbell for Delhi and Oakland for Trey? Here's Tommy.
They're first class individuals, first class dudes, and you know, one of the things we try to spend a lot of time on, and you know, some of these guys won't be at Arizona for 3 or 4 or 5 years. So we really do as good a job as we can educating them on the history and the legacy of Arizona basketball, the former players, the great teams, the tough moments. We spend a lot of time talking about that stuff. There's a lot of conversation between former players and current players, and they've been awesome, and they're helping us so much. Everybody that got on the court today really contributed, which makes this a total team effort.
Well, again, it has not been easy. If you look back, take out Samford and Central Michigan, and we're talking UCLA, TCU, and Cincinnati. In those 3 games for Anthony Del Orso, he is 2 for 6 from the floor, so he's only taken 6 shots total. He is 1 for 5 from 3, so the points have been a little bit tougher to come by. We saw him kind of get that surge going against Davidson. It started in the Bahamas. He had the 19-point game against Southern Utah. But, again, we're finding it, this offense, and obviously at the defensive end as well, to be a little bit tougher for him now that we are back playing some big boy basketball.
Yeah, and he's more of an offensive guy. Let's just admit that. You know what I mean? Kind of slight frame, right? But people, come on now. He's not getting the opportunities he's got at Campbell. He's not getting the playing time, the minutes, right? And the shot selection that he had at Campbell, he could do whatever he wanted to do. He was the best player that they had. So to me,
let's go back really quick, Kelvin, and talk about what we just talked about. We're talking about Henry Vesar's confidence and his game confidence is what Tommy Lloyd said right there. Well, guess what? Delhi, when he has a bad defensive possession, he's coming off the court because there's another guy right there, Kelvin. You talk about that all the time. So you talk about the opportunities you got at Campbell. Right now, there's a bit of a, hey, our team's not playing great. We're not playing great basketball throughout these first 15 games of the season. If Delhi maybe isn't looking like he's fully committed or ready to understand the game plan or what he's trying to do defensively, there's somebody else who can step into that role.
Yeah, and I think with that, DK, J-Dub, if a couple shots go down, you keep him in there. But when he's not playing well on the offensive end, coach has a quick hook for him because he does have better athletes. He does have better defenders, rebounders, guys that bring more to the stat sheet, than he does. And that's the situation that he's in right now. There also is right now is in the game as a spacer, pulling people away from Caleb and the inside guys. And if he's not knocking down that shot, right now he's not bringing the defense that coach can go to on the bench.
And I will say this, he's had a couple of spotlight plays, right? He had a couple of big blocks on his man, defending him, Kelvin, that won about 15 feet a couple of games ago. But when you're getting beat and maybe your shot's not falling and maybe a little body language type of stuff, coach knows better than anybody. We've seen now, it started with that Duke game, but we've seen a couple of times where Delhi maybe came out and didn't go back in.
But he did go in against Cincinnati with 2 seconds to go. He got fouled. He hit 2 free throws. He is one of the better free throw shooters on this team. So credit Tommy Lloyd for making that little move at the end to get Anthony, get a guy you can trust to finish a game at the line.
And you know what that means? That means he's one of the better free throw shooters from practice. And we got in a situation to where I needed to make a call to have one of my better free throw shooters in there. And even if you haven't been playing, I'm going to go with you. That builds credibility with the rest of the players and with Del Orso. They're saying that if you're saying that I'm good at a particular thing, free throw shooting, 3-point, give me an opportunity to do that when those times come up. So I think that helps out as a coach when you do that, because he could have easily just went with the guys in the game that were already there. But you made that sub to say, no, we value you. You are an important piece to this team. So I'm going to put you in there for some free throws that we desperately need. But I believe in you. You always hear Tommy say that. I believe in you. But he's coaching them up and keeping it real with him too, because when you can't guard someone, I'm taking you out as well.
Anthony Del Orso says, hey, I cannot worry about my touches.
So you're not going to get it every time you're open. I mean, I would like to, of course. I'd love to get, 25 catch and shoot threes, but it's not going to happen. It's a matter of seeing what the game's giving you and where to get to. Next game I might get a bunch of cuts and get 3 dunks. That's just how the game goes. So either way, whether you get the ball or not, you still got to do the right play. You still got to run. You still got to space the floor the right way. And then when time's right, the ball will come. You can't just give up because you're not getting it.
Guys, he had 455 field goal attempts last year.
Whoa.
450. Wow.
In 32 games. 455 in 32 games.
And that's what I was saying before. He's not, and a lot of times, a lot of those guys that shoot so many shots, a lot of them like to warm up in the game. They like to take about 6 or 7 in the game before they even start counting their
He's not
stats.
shy either. He gets in the game, he lets it fly. Most times he touches it, he's open, he's letting it fly.
And I heard him what he just said in there. He said that he has to continue to try to play hard when he's not getting his shots. That's what he was basically saying. He's not used to that. He used to, again, running the sets where the ball is coming to him, where he can get the shot or make the decision of whether or not he get the shot.
And that being said, Campbell will be the last time he is the guy who gets 15 shots a game, Kelvin. I mean, if his goal, we've heard him say his stated goal is to get to the next level, to get to the NBA. Any NBA team you put Del Orso on, if he gets to there, he's not going to be taking 15 or 20 shots a game, Kelvin. So understanding how to play hard, how to play strong, how to play physical, tough defense, come off screens hard, even when you're not getting your number called or whatever. That's what this learning process is all about.
And we talked at the end of the last game about Jaden Bradley and how he had played back-to-back games in which he had played 38 minutes. Was he wearing down? Well, Bruce asked Tommy about that after the game on Saturday.
We could always go back in hindsight and look at it, and maybe there's something different I can do, and maybe it's something different I'll do next time. But you know what he did, Bruce, at the end? He didn't come out. He made the game-winning layup, and he made game-winning free throws. So he wasn't too tired.
Hey, I feel you.
6 for 6 at the line down the stretch to ice that game against Cincinnati. All right, let's see what it looks like right now on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Hotel.
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Actually, at the sports book is what we're looking at. Ooh, whoa. This game is there. Apparently, money is coming in on this game. The line, I've been saying all night, 2.5. The line has gone to 4 now in favor of Arizona. So it has jumped a point and a half since earlier today. So we'll play that. Arizona -4. Over-under has also gone up to 143.5. So we'll play that there. So Arizona -4 on the road. Kelvin, you can go first on this one.
Arizona -4. Man, I got to go with West Virginia again, man.
Okay.
It's on the road. I'm hoping that the guys aren't too happy that they already got the split. But sometimes I've been in that situation where you're pretty happy that you got a win already, and you're not as focused as you need to be. I don't know this about this team, right?
Yeah.
Because they're still trying to figure out things. But in my experience, a lot of times after you get to that first win, you just ease up off the gas a little bit. And I think you can't do that versus a West Virginia team, especially with the feistiness that they play with.
I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to go with West Virginia +4.
I think Arizona wins, but not by 4. So I think it's a very close game. So I will agree with all of you guys. I think Arizona by 2-3.
Okay. Over-under now, what did I say? It's up 143.5 now. Obviously, we were under last game, and I think I just get the feeling that this team really, I think when we see a lot of the overs for this team, it's when they're at home, and I just don't know that I think this game could be, and this is a very good defensive team in West Virginia, so I'm going to go under on this one tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely going to be a low-scoring game. 144 is really low. But, yeah, I think it comes in just under that as well.
I'm going to go over.
All right.
I'm going to go over.
Somebody's got to make a move tonight, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go over. You look at that last game, they scored 59? It was 83-76.
Yeah.
So that's 159.
Right.
And I mean, they don't got DeVries. I mean, they don't have DeVries, so that takes some buckets off. But I just got a feeling. I got a feeling the offense is going to be a little bit better today.
They just played Kansas 63-62. I think it was the final of that game.
That was
at Kansas.
Yeah. At Kansas, yeah. No, I thought it was. Was it?
Oh, was it West Virginia?
Yeah, no, it was at Kansas.
It was at Kansas.
First win ever by the Mountaineers at Kansas ever.
I thought it was.
That's another reason why, guys. I can't. I mean, that team right now, man. What they've been showing. I mean, the pick against them right now. Just keep it. I love my cat. Y'all know that, and y'all know. Hopefully, y'all know what I'm doing. I hope I'm picking against them, hoping that it comes back around.
We know. If the listeners don't know, we know.
All right, that is what it looks like. So I'm the only one in plus money right now at 6 over. Everybody else is under the money right now. We'll find out if that changes tonight.
Those are today's best bets. They are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne the Idri Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing for your next set of tires or automotive repair, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
You'll find an entire page of them online at jackfurriers.com. Savings on tires, oil changes, batteries, wheel alignments, and more.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, here to get you there.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, best price, biggest inventory.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rocking K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden. It's time now to take you down the front row of the arena. A view from courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
And our view from courtside comes today from the man who has been covering the Arizona Wildcats basketball team for many years for the Arizona Daily Star. His name is Bruce Pascoe. We had a chance to catch up with Bruce down in Morgantown, West Virginia. And I asked Bruce, have you ever been to Morgantown?
No, I'm happy to be here. I always like new places wherever they are, for better or worse. It's always interesting. So, and it's just so we're hitting it right in the middle of a little storm here. So it's kind of cool. It just snows and come down literally since the minute I got here.
Yeah, and it was a little bit cold, we understand, in Cincinnati, but the Wildcats were able to get out of there with a win. What were your top takeaways from the Wildcats' performance at the Fifth Third Arena on Saturday?
I think the biggest thing was just that they actually had kind of some will to get it done. I just kept going back to that UCLA game, and they let 13 points melt away and didn't really have a response. This time they let 19 melt away and did have sort of a response, and some will. And I think the other thing is that they're just guys are settling their roles a little bit better now, and there seems to be better ball movement, better teamwork. I think because guys are getting used to playing without Previs, and they've accepted the roles. And ironically, or maybe this is why, but some of their best players are coming off the bench right now. It's really a weird dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about obviously the big thing has been the impressive play of Henry Vasar, and the thing that I've really liked is again is what he's adding at the offensive end, but his defense has been just defending out front, defending in the corner, defending in the post, tenacious in getting rebounds. I mean, the play where he tipped the ball to himself 2-3 times to get the offensive rebound and get a dunk. I mean, he's just been so active at both ends of the floor for this team.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's interesting. I mean, I think that I remember his first red-blue game when he was a freshman. You could see he could move, and he being that size, and he had some skills really that could translate on both ends of the court, but you didn't really see that, much of last year, that year, freshman year, and then last year, of course, he was out, and it just so he's kind of grown into that. And I think, I talked to him a little bit after the game, and I think he's kind of a easygoing guy, and I think he responds well when he's kind of had a fire lit under him, and he knows now. This was a game when Tobey Waka was really struggling. They needed help inside. They had a big guy to match up against in Cincinnati that Vasar did match up well against. And Vasar told me afterwards he really liked the fact that he was playing in kind of a hostile environment and people root against him. He said he liked doing that when he was playing for Real Madrid, and they'd go in. He was playing for their top youth club, and they go into these other little Spanish towns, and everybody would just root against them because they hated Real Madrid because they were like the big team, like the Dallas Cowboys or something. And then, a little national. So he has that in him, little edge. I think that's a good sign for Arizona to see that come out, because
we don't necessarily think about is that some of these European players have been in some pretty raucous environments. Yeah, maybe they don't have the same type of high school situation, but some of these guys that have played big time club ball and that kind of thing have been in some places where it can get a little bit crazy there in Europe in terms of the basketball. So they may walk into some of these situations in the United States in hostile environments and not necessarily be overwhelmed. That's a big benefit for a guy like him.
Yeah, and they have these. I mean, he's from Estonia too, and they have these friendlies, they call them, which aren't friendly really, but they're with the other Lithuania, some of the neighboring countries, and that's quite a rivalry of those teams. So, and these kids they're just they're at the youth level, but even the youth level, the fans get into it, and the players get into it, and it's a big deal to be kind of a hated opponent. So he liked that, and that is something because they're gonna, and that's a good thing. Arizona's going to see that a lot. They saw it a little bit at Cincinnati, but actually I thought that crowd was actually really quiet for most of the game until Cincinnati kind of closed in the second half. But I got to think that, some of these other Big 12, maybe the more traditional Big 12 sites or whatever, they're known for really hostile environments. Iowa State, Kansas, some of these places they're going to, it's going to be rough, and they're going to need some kind of backbone to survive.
We are joined by Arizona Wildcats basketball beat writer Bruce Pascoe from the Arizona Daily Star. It is your view from courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for more than 25 years. Bruce, we got a question here in-house from J.W. Madden.
Bruce, Henry's been playing out of his mind. My really important question to you is, it's been Vesar this whole time. Now, in the post game the other night, Coach Lloyd very specifically said Vesar. Now, which is it?
I was told since the beginning he got here it was Vesar, and I think that came from him. But I have heard more and more people see that. So my guess, knowing Henry, he probably doesn't care, what people call it. He's just that kind of guy. But I should ask again, actually, because it is an interesting point. And I just heard somebody say that today. And I'm like,
oh, boy.
No, it's Vesar. It looks like Vesar, of course. You might wonder if you pronounce the first name with a French accent or something. No, you don't. And it's Vesar. I don't know. It's Estonian. Who knows? That's a difficult language for any of us to grasp.
Oh, boy. It's like the football player, Kedrick Risino. Nobody knew how to pronounce his name for the first 6 games of the season until he had a good game. We finally found out from him it was Risino and not Riscano, which everybody had been saying for the first quarter of the season.
Yeah, I think it's one of those languages. It's a small country, and they know nobody can speak their language, so they all they all know English and probably some other languages too. It's amazing, really. But yeah, it's really, really tricky from what I've seen about it.
All right, Bruce, you were talking about some of these other hostile environments that they're going to go into, starting with tomorrow night in West Virginia. So we're going to ask you our question of the day here and see what you think. There's going to be 10 road games in this new conference. They've already won 1. How many do you think they'll win overall on the road in the Big 12?
Yeah, well, and tomorrow's a toss-up, too, I think, because this snowstorm actually might scare off some fans, and also the students aren't there, and you never know. But I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say 4 maybe, but that counts the one they already did. But I think they're going to lose 1 or 2 at home, just, because there always seems to be that happening. And, Iowa State coming into McHale, that's going to be tough. Those teams are not going to be afraid playing at McHale. It'll be different for them, but they won't be intimidated by it. So I think it'll wash out. I guess I haven't really thought about that, David. It could be just 2 or 3 though. That wouldn't be a surprise. But I think they might be able to pull out 3 or 4, and then again lose some at home. And I think overall though they know they've got to get 11 or 12 at least to have a shot at the postseason.
All right, so I said 5 total, including the one they've already won. Dragon Ball said 5 total. J-Dub said he believes 6 wins on the road. Yeah, wow. Yeah. So
wow.
But you're the man in the know. So if you think it might only be 4.
I just think it's really tough. You know what? And if you saw it after, if we did this poll after the UCLA game, it might be they might lose all of them.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Right. And the last 4 are the real tough. You got to go to Kansas State, Baylor, Iowa State, and Kansas at the end. That's going to be a really tough end to this. So they need to pile these W's up on the road early, I think, because that last stretch is going to be very difficult.
Exactly. Yeah, they're back-to-back Saturdays, Iowa State, Kansas. They I think even playing at BYU is going to be a challenge. It's just, and Texas Tech. There's no Baylor. It's just going to be really hard. And ASU, that's why I'm thinking, where are they going to pick up the road ones? They need to win, 9 of them at home. And then, if they can get at least 3 or 4 on the road, maybe they can get more, like you guys say, maybe. But I just think, and it's not a knock on them. I just think this is a really tough conference to play in. And that's the way it's going to be. But I think, to your point, David, I think this is a game they can and ideally need to pick up, because it isn't going to be as bad, I don't think, environmentally as some of the other games down the road. And they've had a couple days to kind of chill out and prepare. They've got their confidence going. So go in, if you're Arizona, go in and get this one now, and then, get rolling a little bit, because there are going to be tougher times ahead.
Bruce, what was the dynamic in the team practicing at Xavier on the front part of this trip in Cincinnati, and obviously former coach Sean Miller being the boss over there?
Yeah, that was interesting. I wasn't there for it, but I think the way they explained it to me, it was Xavier actually hosts a lot of teams because Cincinnati's facilities are kind of limited, so they just kind of open the door. And I think in this business, there's kind of a camaraderie within coaches, even if they're sort of rivals. But I think this was really interesting that Sean Miller himself signed off on it because Ryan Reynolds, the director of ops, who was the ops guy at Arizona with him, he went back to Xavier with Miller, and he told me, he says, hey, I just went to him, at the beginning of the season and said, would this be okay? And Miller's like, yeah, like no big deal. Like they were out of town anyway. They had left that day to go to prepare for a game at Georgetown. So it kind of worked out on both sides. And, but I think, pretty neat in a way that there's that connection, because it's not only Miller, who left on, pretty rough terms, but there's a bunch of guys on that staff. Reynolds, Ryan Anderson, who played for the Wildcats, for 1 year under Miller. Miller's son, one of Miller's sons, is on that staff. And Adam Cohen, their associate, was actually a manager for Lude back in the day. So they've got a lot of ties, and that's what Reynolds was telling me, is that they know, they follow Arizona. They're fans, in a way. So there is kind of a connection there, even though when you think about Sean Miller, you might assume it's maybe a little bit fractured, but it's not really. It seems like.
Arizona Daily Star Wildcat basketball beat writer Bruce Pascoe with your view from courtside. It's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for more than 25 years. Bruce, obviously you saw these two teams when they met down at the Battle for Atlantis in the Bahamas. So what do you think the key is going to be, Arizona, to get a better result than they did down on Paradise Island?
Well, they're kind of, what I found today is that in a way there's, even though it wasn't that long ago, there's really some different dynamics to these teams, because Tucker DeVries is the guy who really killed him down there. He had 8 of 12 threes. They ran a lot of screens for him at sort of around the top of the key and broke open. And, I think he's out now, but they still do that. And they have Javon Small, and, I've got a freshman, Jonathan Powell, who's shooting well. So I think they're going to have to, play a lot better ball screen defense. That's probably a key. And I think, Jaden Bradley was telling me today, he felt they've gotten a lot better in that area, just communicating and, and just kind of knowing, how to work with each other better than they were at that point. So that'll be key if they can handle that. I mean, Jamal Small is just on a roll right now, and he was the Big 12 Player of the Week. He beat Kansas, helped him beat Kansas. So that's going to be a tricky thing there. And then they have a big guy that wasn't in that game that they didn't see that they're going to have to match up against, and that's what Basar may need to play a big role against him, and Basar was not a factor at all in the Bahamas, so it could be a completely different game. We'll see how it plays out.
Other than the distance, Bruce, and the fact that obviously it's an extra day of rest in between, have there been other noticeable differences about this first Big 12 road trip?
No, I don't think so. It's actually, I asked Bradley today about, does it feel like a Pac-12 trip, because the Pac-12 was doing those
Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday,
Wednesday, Saturday, yeah, and sometimes you have those, but it's just a different feel. And sometimes, if they were just LA or sometimes teams actually went back and forth. Usually Arizona didn't, but he said he still thought it was different just because the environments are different. And I think that's the thing. It is a little further. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think in a way it's a lot similar. In fact, I think Morgantown, honestly, is a little bit bigger version of Pullman and maybe a little Appalachia flavor to it, but it's kind of the same thing. There's hills, snow, kind of college town. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I think, and they charter everywhere. So I don't know, just looking at it like I am, I don't think it's all that much different, really.
Did you drive from Cincinnati or did you fly?
Yeah, I did. I'm crazy. I actually, I was plotting out the cheapest way to do this, and it seemed like Pittsburgh had the best airfares and renting a car there. So I just flew to Pittsburgh, and I'm driving everywhere, which is probably too much driving, but I haven't seen much of this part of the country, so it's kind of interesting. I actually got out went through Charleston, West Virginia, and drove, as the storm hit yesterday, and I got here last night. So, I'm trying to, a little tourist action while I'm here, I guess.
There you go. All right. Well, stay warm, Bruce.
Yeah. It's no problem. It's not. Yeah, it's not been bad. I actually kind of like. It's kind of a nice change. You know what I mean?
There you go, Bruce Pasco of the Arizona Daily Star. Thanks, brother.
All right. Thanks for having me, Dave.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
Go Wildcats! As the new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And we're including an 80% furnace with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we're offering 60 months no interest financing, tax credits up to $2,600, energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com where you can experience out of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I could enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing for your next set of tires or automotive repair, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
You'll find an entire page of them online at jackfurriers.com. Savings on tires, oil changes, batteries, wheel alignments, and more.
So call ahead and make an appointment online or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Happy New Year and welcome to 2025. It's a new year, but we still have air conditioning and heating systems at last year's prices. We have high-efficient inverter systems for as low as $89 a month. For year-round comfort, call Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or PictureRocksCooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Leave it off for Lewis. KJ drives right. His runner is up and good. Boy, tough bucket for KJ Lewis.
Really tough floater there. KJ, once again, uses athleticism to get to his spot off of 2 feet for the right-hand floater.
Yeah, KJ Lewis had a couple of big buckets in that game on Saturday that the Wildcats won in Cincinnati, 72-67. Little runners that he was able to score on, key scoring down the stretch to get the Wildcats that win. They'll look to sweep this road trip tonight against West Virginia. Tip-off is just a little over 45 minutes away in Morgantown. We've got you for this one final segment here. One guy that did not necessarily shoot the ball well in Cincinnati was Caleb Love. He'll be looking to rebound tonight in Morgantown. Tommy Lloyd was asked about the job that Dede Thomas and Dan Skillings Jr. did on Caleb in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's a great defensive team, and we knew that coming in, and we knew they were going to pay a lot of attention to Caleb and really make his touches harder. I thought he had a few good looks and a few drives, that were 50-50 foul calls he maybe could have got that he didn't, and some catches. I know we ran an out of bounds play for him at the end. He had a stripped top of the key three to kind of ice the game that rimmed out. Those are shots I want him taking. So they did a good job on him, and they did a great job on him. And, he probably had a few shots that maybe go in for him sometimes that didn't. But you know what? He's a winner. And Caleb is someone I love. And I love being in the fight with him. And I love that, sometimes maybe people aren't rooting for him because you know what? We are. And we love the guy, and we're going to ride with him every day.
Well, you're going to need, I think, that, and then that was we pointed at all the things that we looked at and said, well, man, how did you win this game because this happened? How did you win this game because this happened? You didn't do this, you didn't do that, and obviously another one of those was you didn't get a great scoring night from the guy who had been leading you through the first 3 games of this win streak, and you were still able to get a victory. But it's going to be tough to win a lot of these games on the road if you don't have a very solid scoring Caleb Love, and I think that the Wildcats are going to need that tonight for sure.
100%. You're totally right there. One of my keys is get Caleb going early. It's probably going to be every time because when he's playing well, it's not to me, and it's not about Caleb to me.
Yeah,
it's about the other guys around him because you know what happens when you have a guy that other guys been watching while they was in high school performing and having 1,500 points before he ever got to Arizona. You look up to him. You look up to him, you watch them on TV, and when he's struggling, you think, whoa, how can I play good if he ain't playing good, right?
You watch him in the Final Four, Kelvin.
In the Final Four. So when he's playing well, that confidence comes. You get that same confidence. When he's not playing well, you think, man, this team must be tough because they're stopping Caleb. So it's very important for the star player to get going and playing positive because it has a tremendous effect on the rest of the guys, especially the younger guys.
And, of course, some new guys, the way that things have gone with this lineup, some new rotations with this lineup that we've had and we've seen over the course of the last 3-4 games with Mo Krivas now being out for the season. Jaden Bradley, though, pleased with the way that these rotations are starting to gel.
Definitely, Mo going out, that's a big piece for us. But, Henry's done a great job. Tobe, Deli, like you say, like next man up mentality. And I feel like, we're starting to find that now and, realizing that we don't have Mo, so different scenarios we could play with Henry at the 5 or Tobe at the 5. So, we're just, working on those things right now.
And we heard Tommy in that last segment talk a little bit about, he was asked by Bruce Pascoe about playing guys 38 minutes or playing at least Jaden Bradley 38 minutes in back-to-back ball games. And he elaborated a little bit more on why that's possible that you can do that in this new conference versus what you were faced with in the Pac-12.
The one thing I'm learning about the Big 12 that I guess we weren't doing right early, since kind of our inaugural year, is they have longer timeouts. These timeouts are like 3 minutes. Honestly, it's like the NCAA tournament. So it matters. I mean, that matters. Your guys get rested. And you don't have back-to-back games. You don't have day in between games very often. So, I think you're comfortable playing, some of your guys more minutes.
I did not notice that the timeouts were any longer. I'll have to maybe pay a little bit more attention to that tonight. But clearly, when you look at the fact that there are going to be a lot of instances where they're playing Saturday, Tuesday. I think they do it again next week. I mean, that extra day out, it's not a day off in between and you play again. It's 2 days off in between and you play again. So
those like Thursday 9 p.m. tips followed by the noon
Saturday
on Saturday.
yeah. I mean, nuts.
Yeah, that's over with, and that's true. What Coach said, you have more time to rest your guys, and as he said, and you're in this new conference, and hey, they need those timeouts to make that extra little money, man. You know how that go. So hey, they gotta get it.
Tack on another minute to that timeout to pay the bills for sure. All right, let's find out what the Wildcats need to do to win this game tonight.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
Keys to the game. J-Dub, lead us off today.
I think it's all offense for me because, real quick, guys, Duke, UCLA, Cincinnati, and West Virginia are all in the top 20 of points allowed. West Virginia is only giving up 62.5 points a game. Arizona's seen a lot of tough defenses. But what they did in Lawrence and how they held Kansas down, it's really all about offense. You gotta not settle for 3-point shots against that pack line. Strong off the dribble, less than 23-point attempts is what I'd like to see in this game. Gotta cut hard off the ball as well. Take care of the ball, less than 12 turnovers. Really, really solid West Virginia team. Like I said, the last 5 games, guys, since the Arizona game, 6 games, 54 points per game is what they're giving up on average. And you got to dominate the boards. I think Arizona has a size advantage they did not have against Cincinnati tonight. One thing they did do in Atlantis that was a part of West Virginia's win in overtime, 15 offensive boards for the Mountaineers in that game. So you got to make sure you take care of your defensive boards. Those are my keys today versus West Virginia.
Kelvin.
Again, get Caleb going early. That's not really one of my keys. That's just one of my things that has to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think that we have to take care of the ball, just as J-Dub said. 14 turnovers in that last game. 11 of them were steals. Like, they literally, I mean, if you go back and remember, they was taking the ball out of some of our guys' hands. So we have to be strong with the basketball in hand. We only had 8 fast break points in that last game. And they had 16. That cannot happen. That has to be reversed. We have to double them if we're going to be able to beat them at their house on the fast break. And play tough. Play tough defense without fouling. We sent them to the free throw line, man. They had 22 shots at the free throw line. They made 17 of them. I think in between the steals and the free throws and the fast break, that's the game that they beat us last time.
Well, and I'll go back to just what I was talking about earlier in terms of Javon Small and how he's been getting a lot of his points at the rim. So ball screen defense is going to be key today. Communication on the defensive end to make sure that everybody knows who's got him coming off those high screens and not allowing him to get into the lane and to get layups. If he does that tonight, like we've seen him do it the last 2 games, it could be a long night for the Arizona Wildcats. You don't have that big-time 3-point shooter on the floor in Tucker DeVries, but that doesn't mean you can fall asleep at the 3-point line because I mentioned that freshman scares me a little bit as being a guy on this team that can shoot the 3-point shot. Jonathan Powell, 6'6". I talked about his defense earlier, but he can also knock it down from outside the arc. And I think that if he gets hot, he could be that guy. I know that you guys said earlier some of the other guys would be the ones that are most important. But I think if Powell gets hot from the perimeter, then that's going to allow them to potentially win this game tonight as well. And just basically what Kelvin said there and what we talked about. You're not going to win very many games if Caleb Love doesn't get going offensively and struggles to score the basketball. I think you need to have him in the 20 points. If you play 10 games and he scores under 20 on the road, you're probably going to lose 7 or 8 of those games. So a 20-point plus night for Caleb Love. And I think if you can obviously shoot the ball from distance, this might be one of those games where you need to knock down some threes to win it on the road. So maybe not take a lot of threes like J-Dub says, but you can't be 5. I don't think you can be 5 for 14. I think it's what they were was in Cincinnati. I think you need to be close. If you're going to take 14, you better make about 8 of those tonight to have a chance to win this game over West Virginia. That is what we think the Cats need to do to get the victory.
Wildcats fans, that's our keys to the game. Brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
Yeah, DK, if you think about the Sean Miller-led U of A defenses and how difficult it was for teams to get inside, right? And how hard that was. That's the big thing for me. That pack line, right? It's tough, Kelvin. It's tough to penetrate the pack line, especially when it's run well. Right. And it's easy to settle, right? It's easy to settle for those outside shots because it's not as hard to get through those,
they're giving them to you.
Multiple bodies they're throwing at you inside the paint. Yeah.
All right, guys, final thoughts before we turn it over to the network.
Again, man, I think it's going to be a tough game today, playing on the road, but this is what the guys signed up for. Just excited to see them play this type of competition. They lost to them early in the season. They were physical with us, and I can't wait to see if we bring that back to them.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see them play in a building they've never played in before. He said 1950 is the last time they played in Morgantown. It's always fun to go into these new places. We're learning the Big 12. That's a very proud tradition, going all the way back to Jerry West. So really looking forward to seeing what that crowd brings today. Little snowy weather outside, but I'm sure they'll be hyped to see the Wildcats come in. Looking forward to a good game.
Starting lineups.
The foundation of a great college basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rockin' K, a master plan community designed by nature.
For your Arizona Wildcats, 3-guard play gets you going with that starting lineup. You got Caleb Love at the guard position. Caleb Love along with Jaden Bradley and Anthony Del Orso. And then, of course, the two forwards are going to be Trey Townsend and Tobe Awaka. Tommy Lloyd leading his Wildcats into Morgantown, West Virginia. That's going to wrap up our show. Coming up next, Arizona basketball against number 21, the Mountaineers. For J.W. Madden, for Calvin Efon, my name is David Kelly. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you afterward. Bear down, Arizona.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Future. Trust is founded on 3 core